Reet. Had your gobs. Public service announcement from Fatster's economy lad. All the crap coming is Reet. But didn't ask when war slugs and Dan or a couple of doylums that can't use the netty proper, let alone find their arse from their elbow. So gan canny. All the pictures taxed them from all hour. So cheers to all the hinnies who hide them out there. So all canny here over the dirt. So if you didn't like it, like me granny used to say, it's nice to be nice. If you can't be nice, fuck off. Didn't let the bairns listen to this unless you want them to go and proper rage and mental. Reet man, pet man. This is one of them D as I say, not as I D moments. If ye want to copy us, Dibben come running to us after with a broken leg. Cheers, bairns, gan canny.
Welcome. I'm Dan Watson. We're back to normal.
I'm Paul Sloggett, and we've had a few big names on lately, so we thought we'd sort of bring you back to earth with a bit of a bump with a little bit of an unknown rider. He's been on the scene for a little while now, but could we call him an up and coming?
Yeah, definitely an
up and maybe in.
Up and coming. I think if he works hard, he might go on to achieve great things. But at the moment, he's still on our coattails, really, isn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah. So it's an unknown. Is what we're going to say, yeah?
Yeah, let's say that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dirt. Let's bring in Matthew Brind.
Never heard of him.
I hope I've pronounced his surname right. I've not got a good reputation for pronouncing surnames correct. Matt.
Hello.
Good evening.
a very subdued entry into your episode.
Well, everyone knows I'm pretty chill, so I guess it's no surprise to anyone. I'm just a bit, lethargic and chill.
I like his confidence here, Slogs.
Yeah,
already. He's saying
never energetic.
Knows.
Yeah.
We've just marketed you as an up and coming.
They don't
not
know
many
yet,
people might have
they
heard.
will do.
Watch this space.
Dude, thank you so much for taking these moments with us and it's been a long time coming. We make no apology for anything that we've said about or to you.
Well, I'm just going to leave now then. You told me this was going to be a big apology podcast. You guys were just going to love all over me. And you've lied. Frankly, I'm not up for it. I'll see you later.
One big apology.
When we said love all over you, that didn't mean big you up. That mean that we're just going to get together, right, and get soggy biscuit.
I say words, and if you want to interpret it in an egg sack kind of way, that's entirely your choice.
I definitely heard that as you want a hug the next time we see you.
Well, look, because of you guys, I've had to start slackening the hug rule. Because everyone's just when I see people, they're coming up now oh, you don't like hugs, do you? So now I'm counterbalancing. No, it's okay. They're just lying to you.
Blame COVID.
Fine. And I do it, but I definitely get a shoulder in there, so I've got a bit of breathing space, The tips.
Well, I'll know now to approach you like this.
Yeah. We both go in wonky and get contact, and
getting those in your neck.
I like those really awkward hugs that you sometimes have. It's I hate this person right now, but
yeah. Worst case, you always go in for the bro hug. So you go, yeah, come here, give them the fist grip, boom, and then you got that between you, and then it's fine too.
Throw them away immediately.
Yeah, as soon as you're done, you get
It's so tight and just so tight for that extra 5 awkward seconds to make it that much more.
I mean, 5 seconds with you slugs is always awkward, so that comes with the. Well, it's to be expected.
A lot can happen in 5 seconds with slugs.
Yeah, exactly.
My wife.
It's when he starts shouting bingo that you've got to be afraid.
Listen, enough about our weird obsession with cuddling and that sort of thing. Thank you for coming on.
My pleasure.
I'm anticipating that this may go on a little while. We've had a fair few questions come in, and there's a reasonable amount to cover, I suppose.
One or two pieces.
Without wanting to do any injustice to your origins, your superhero's origin story.
Well, it is a loving.
Hey, come on. Yeah, but who's doing the Superman? You don't get to do Superman tricks without at least some kind of layer in there.
You clearly haven't watched our videos, Dan, because it's not a Superman. We admit we don't do a Superman. We don't get flat. It's a board off. So I thought you were a fan. You always said you're our biggest fan. All those bourbons that I raised in salute to my biggest fan. Our biggest fan. And it was all for nothing.
Sorry, I'm knocking stuff up down here. I'm getting all flat.
That's disgusting, mate. I didn't realise it was that kind of podcast. I'm glad it took me so long to come on.
It was my toolkit. My toolkit hit the floor. Honest, man.
It's not any better. It's that saggy now, is it? You've got that old.
Very.
You can reach from the chair
Very.
to the
You
ground.
you can fit a whole 32-piece socket set in there now.
With the extensions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a different kind of butt plug.
Right, let's go on to the fucking origin story. This is fucking...
Yeah, without going too far back, I mean, I suppose your origin story starts before I knew you. I remember you as a young whippersnapper around Priory back in the day when, even when I was in the place, I don't know whatever my role was back then, general douchebag, and
General douchebag.
And obviously Slogs would have been around then as well. But your story definitely begins before there. We've had a little taster through your brother's episode. Some might say the more favourable Brind, but we're not going to bring that into this.
Okay.
I think better Brind rolls off the tongue better.
Well, I mean, they could say that.
That's a double positive there, Slogs.
The thing that always encourages me is that nobody realizes that our older brother's even better one. So Andy's still not top of the pyramid, and that's all that matters to me. You know, that's the most important thing. So it's fine. It's fine. I can take that one.
But yeah, so take us back to early
Essex.
2000s, Essex.
Yeah, so I guess you're saying you want to voyage into the life of Matt Brind.
Yeah,
and to take one of my favorite people's most famous catchphrases, Eamon Shaw. Welcome to the boat. So we're going back to Essex, yeah, back in the day. So it's the 9th of April, 2005. Can you believe it? The day after my 14th birthday. And we go and pick up my first mountain board. What a glorious day. My mum's friend did sidecar racing with the motorbikes and stuff. So she gave us a motorcycle helmet for me to use as my first helmet. So that was great. So, you know, my long tradition of pads and protection started really strong. But yeah, so I saw mountain boarding on Top Gear with Tom Kirkman racing the Bowler Wildcat and the rally car down the Green Man. Thought that looks awesome. That's really cool. Then kind of forgot about it for a little while. And then it was coming up to my 14th birthday. We were just going for a walk around the woods, saw some people mountain boarding, thought, oh yeah, that looks really cool. Oh yeah, I saw that on Top Gear. I wonder if I can get that for my birthday. And then a bit of research on the earlier internets, saw that there was a board and kite shop up in Southend, like 20-30 minutes away from where we lived. So we went and had a look in there, found one, and then I had to save up paper round money, birthday money, owed my dad some money to get my first board, and we were hooked from there. I say we because it was me and Andy. Our older brother Mark as well quite enjoyed it too at the time, but he was always a bit more into the bikes if he did anything kind of action sporty. And then yeah, my mum's driveway is on a bit of a hill, and then we've got a grass garden section at the bottom. So it was ideal. You just go down the hill, you go down the drive from as high as you dare, turn onto the grass and then come to a stop, and then eventually learn to power slide there. Many front flips out of the bindings later, figured out how to power slide.
Yeah. No early versions of the Jolly Green.
Yeah, I was about to come to that one. So we had a tree stump that was cut out of the ground. So we put that down in the old top of a table. So it was literally a tabletop as the up face of the ramp. And we learned to 180 off of that and stuff, do some little grabs. And then we get like traffic cones and put them on the driveway and slalom down around those down the drive, and then power slide. And yeah, that's like the general first little while there.
Matt, did you ever find out who the group of riders were who were in the woods that you first seen? Did you ever find out who they were?
No, never did. When we started meeting up with Eat Dirt, who was the local team back in the day, Essex All Terrain. Like I'd been doing it for 2 weeks at that point, where we met up with them at a hill, like a 5-minute walk from my dad's house. And we asked around that crew to see who it was, but never found them. I should say thanks to them if I ever did find them, because it was pretty life-changing. 17 years later, here we are. I'm on a massive podcast getting to talk about my story. It's insane. But yeah, so we met up with the local riders a couple of weeks later, and I think it must have been a week or two after that, they went down to Haredown to practice for the first round of the UK Champs in 2005. So I went along with them then. Massive thanks to Mum being so trusting. There's these 20-somethings. And she's just, okay, yeah, my 14-year-old can go with you guys, it's fine. We met them once or twice, maybe. So I went to Haredown, and that's where I got my that's where I got my perma lump. So I've got a lump high on my left butt cheek, which has never left since then, because I did the junior track, the blue track.
Yeah.
Came round the woods, and where it was the morning, it was a little bit dewy. So I went round the corner, toe side, power slide by accident, and then catch an edge, land on my butt on a rock, because it's Haredown, of course.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, don't know what butt pads are at this point. That's really sore. Wait all day till I could walk again properly. Go back up. It's not wet anymore, but I skid in the same place and land on the exact same rock in the same position. Lump never went away.
Oh, man.
But then like another week or two later was the UK Champs first round, 2005 at Haredown. So I went along to that. I was well happy that I got down the main track on 15 PSI. Then I put it up to 20 PSI and couldn't do it. So there we go. And I came 41st out of 43 people in the under 18s. The numbers back then, man. How crazy.
I tell you what. And it's been downhill ever since, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the only reason my results have gotten better is because there's less people there. By virtue of there only being 11 people, I've already done better than 42nd or 41st, so winning.
Now this interests me. So this particular scenario here, you've obviously gone with the guys from Eat Dirt. And
so that'll be Chuck and that lot, won't it?
Precisely, yeah. So Chuck, Nick Smith, Nick and Alison, Jay Bergerson back in the day, Duncan, Traz, yeah, there's quite a crew, Snoz as well. And then Peter Hills about a year later, we started meeting up with Pete as well, and then obviously became like firm best riding buddies from that point on.
Yeah. But so who were your you've gone to this as a 14-year-old without your family and this group of people around you, and they've effectively been your surrogate parents of some description. But to a 14-year-old, I think back to my 14-year-old self, and I think, well, I was pretty self-assured of myself anyway at that point. Who would have been your first sort of meetings of other people outside of Eat Dirt? I mean, you'd have had the people in your gates.
Yeah.
But did you meet?
Well, I never made it to the gates.
Yeah.
But so that first one, I didn't meet anybody outside of the crew. And then we went to Coastal the month later for round 2. Again, didn't meet anyone outside of the crew that first year. And it was 2006 where I really started to meet other people. But outside of the sport, it probably would have been you guys down at Ride the Hill, because it was, I think, between Haredown and Coastal, somewhere around that. In that first year, we started going to XBP.
Yeah.
So we would have met some of you guys down there. Certainly, I've got memories of slogs, like from all the way back.
Giving master classes.
Yeah. I mean, slogs taught me to board slide, which, it really came back at the weekend, actually. Bugs, first board slide I did there, after doing loads of digging and stuff, I went straight over the front onto the floor, and I was like, you know what? Slogs is still in here. But to like just go all over the timeline, I was using your method slogs this weekend at the progression session at Bugs when it was wet and damp and rainy. A couple of the kids wanted to learn how to board slide, so the whole start 90 at the front of the round, just jump straight on and get used to the sliding feeling without having to ride in and turn 90 and all that. I was using that working a treat. So your legacy lives on, good sir.
Sorts of progression sessions.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I've seen the footage, and the kids look like they had a whale of a time doing it.
Oh yeah, it was super. Yeah, they.
It certainly brought back memories for me from when we were doing those October lessons back at the XBP. So it did bring a smile on my face when I seen them today.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad to hear it.
Hats off to you, Matt, on both those progression sessions. I really enjoyed it.
It's joint effort.
And a point of notice, actually not for you here, Matt, but there was one kid in there with blonde hair, and I'm pretty sure it had a section to camera there. I can't remember his name there. It eludes me. But I'm pretty sure in the background of another shot, I could see him going, Slogs is a right wanker. Beat me.
He's a bit young for that.
No. There is beef here.
I got beef with him.
Oh, okay.
What's his name?
You're doing me wrong here. You know when you get back from a weekend and you just
you should know. I thought he was your biggest arch enemy this year.
He's my nemesis. 14-year-old. I'm gonna take him to the fucking cleaners, I tell you.
It's gonna pop up later. When I remember it randomly later, I'm gonna jump straight in with it. It's Lewis and it's his buddy, Lewis's buddy. Oh, I'm really sorry.
Up there, does he like a pad boy up there, I think?
Yeah.
But that came about because we were doing the assault course race at Mount Fest.
Oh yeah.
And I put in a run, and it was like top of the board for like ages. And then he was just determined. He put in about 6 runs, and he finally pipped me.
Sounds like
so. I jumped back on my board. If I'm not having this, jumped back on my board and fucking took him to the cleaners again.
Slugs, the nearly 50-year-old guy is leading the leaderboard for the entirety of the day at a family event, and not satisfied with just letting a 14-year-old pip him and really boosting confidence, thinks, no, I'm going to nail this motherfucker.
I'm totally with Slogs on this one. He needs something to work for. You can't just give it to him. They've got to earn it. You know?
It's a lesson learned. It's a fucking lesson learned for him.
He'll
come back from that stronger and harder.
Exactly. And if you just serve it up on a plate, it's not a win. It's not a win. That's why I won't let Andy beat me.
I reckon we need a re-race. I reckon we need a re-race at the Champs this year. I reckon he can have you on his own turf down the BX. He's going to absolutely mush you, Slugs. I'll put 5 on it.
I don't doubt it as well. I'll just sit talking with the gates and go down through the berms with my elbows out. I'll have to be quite low because he's only 14.
No, he's pretty tall though, to be fair. He's done a lot of his growing already, I reckon.
Interestingly, I did say that we was going to do the questions in one. I am going to do the questions in one section, but there was a question that came in with relation to grinds, but we shall save it. But yeah, so take us. We've completely verged off. It didn't take much, did it?
No, it never does. It's natural though. It's natural tangents. You got to meander. Life's not a straight path, you know. It's made for.
You started coming to Priory.
I know. I was given a really detailed back history. We'd only made it a month into my history. It takes me 10 minutes. But then did Coastal, like I say, about 2 months into into riding. That was really cool as well. And this is back in the days where I just wanted to race, didn't want to do freestyle. I was like, nah, I don't want to do freestyle. I just want to race. Racing's the cool thing. I love it. And then, fast forward another year, been going down to XBP. Like we started doing it almost every weekend at this point. Thanks to Chuck and Nick and Alison for doing all the driving for us. 2006 started to really like integrate into the scene. That's when started doing like the whole series as much as possible. Started hanging out with Peter Hills a lot more and Sonny Dibbons, like our little crew back then. So I think one of the people that really started to meet first was Sonny, because we were all the same age, Pete, Sonny, and myself. So we all started really hanging out at the comps and everything, and riding together there and pushing each other. So that was really cool. And then, yeah, kind of just going from there, riding every weekend as much as possible. Mixture of like a little bit of there's only a little bit of free ride here, but at that age and that ability, it was all really like, it was ideal. It's just outside of the comfort zone and stuff, so that was cool. And some of the woods, and actually where they did the mountain biking for the London 2012 Olympics over at Hadley Castle, that was one of our spots as well. We used to go there all the time, and now they've covered it in trails that kind of don't really work for us, which is a shame. But there's a big hill called Sandpit Hill there. It's quite steep, and that's the one they used to hill climb on. But if the Farmer's Gate was open on it, it like doubled the length of the hill, and you would absolutely bomb. So that was really cool. But yeah, 2006 is where it all started coming together. Started to really get on the freestyle side of things as well, which was cool. And Slogs teaching us to board slide and getting us on all the grinds and things. And just, there was a good crew going down to XBP all the time. So that like Scum was starting to form and turn up. Us guys from Eat Dirt were going down there. You also had the local boys. So, Slogs, Lester, Rob, Aiden, Frank Adams as well. Like, there was a solid crew down there at that point. So we were all just pushing each other on and having a great laugh. Like,
it had a good catchment area.
Yeah.
XP, like geographically, because it's pulling people from different sides of London. So it's pretty good, man.
That's it.
Yeah.
Central South, with and only about 5 minutes off of the 10 minutes off of the motorway. Not even that.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. Just it was pretty damn perfect, wasn't it? Like.
Yeah.
For getting people in to have lessons, for the riders in the area, like it was a good area because there was quite a lot of people in that kind of zone. And the drag lift. The drag lift, yeah. I didn't mention Lardas, of course. There's Lardas as well. So you got all the people from London coming down. So you got like Miles, you got Clive Galway, Spud was turning up every now and again as well.
Joe Jones, you would have been better.
Joe Jones, yeah.
Well.
You had Stretch as well.
Oh yeah. They were glory times down there.
Yeah. So good. And even in the winter, like we'd still be able to go down there because, like Slogs has said in the past, like it just ran. And if it was so ridiculously wet it wasn't going to ride, you just get there early enough that it's still frosty, and it's fine.
do some slides, run the slalom a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know what else to say from the early days there. But hey ho. Oh yeah, I may have arranged something special, boys. Say hello to my little friend. We're gonna fast forward in the timeline a little bit. So I was quite disappointed in Andy's episode because I've been outed a few times here for stories, and James Wanklin got away clean without having his story told by Andy. It was set up perfectly for Andy to tell the James Wanklin story on his pod, and he forgot. So I thought I'd give Andy the opportunity to correct the record here. And I wanted to see how you guys reacted to somebody randomly joining the call as well.
Oh, that's good, boys. Sorry I'm late for this week's meeting. I was hoping the pills worked a bit, but they've not done much.
You've got down a little bit, haven't you? I thought you were 3.3 last week.
Yeah. I think they're the wrong kind of pill.
That's always awkward. You got to check the labels, awkward. Bro.
Yeah. I must have picked up your pills instead, bro. The reducers,
Yeah, exactly. Someone's got to reduce these chonking balls. They're just get in the way. Too dangly. Too heavy.
How are you, dude?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just cooking some chicken, in the air fryer. Cornflake crust. I've been recommended this way. But yeah, I'm doing well. Yourself?
Yeah, we're all good, man.
I've been regaling them with my tale, Andy, and we're what 20 to 30 minutes in, and we've got 1 year into the story. So
nice.
You joined in at the perfect time to get to the James Poland story.
Yeah. It was about 1 year in, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's about right in the chronology. So I'm going to sit back and enjoy this, and I'm going to leave it to you, bro. So what happened to James in Poland, Andy?
Oh, mate, you wouldn't believe.
Hold up. No. Andy, Stop a minute.
This is my podcast.
This is my
Dan.
fucking podcast.
No.
Wait.
This is our, I should say, this is our podcast. You
This is the
Brim
Brim
Brothers.
podcast, isn't
It's
it?
Brim
Yeah,
Brothers.
yeah. Yeah, we did the podcast first. We did the
Andy.
podcast first, so it's ours. By definition, all the
Absolutely.
rest of the Mountainboard podcasts are ours. This is why I waited so long to come on, Dan. You were begging and begging for me to come on. I said no, because when I do, I'm going to take it over. And this is it. Anyway, Andy, please take it away. James Langton, Poland.
Andy,
What
Andy,
happened?
please, if you will,
Not a lot,
Please,
really. It's
please tell us and the community your little story about James Wanklin.
yeah.
When you're ready.
You know what, Dad? As soon as you brought it up, I'll tell it. You know what?
So good of you to call him in for it, Dan.
Oh no.
Shut
yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Shut up or we'll end it now.
Oh, thank goodness. I only had 20 minutes to spare tonight anyway, so
Yeah.
this would be good
I mean, if
timing.
Sloggs had said that, then I would have been more worried. But I know Dad's got no power on this thing. So anyway, to not disrupt too much. Yeah. So the World Freestyle Championships 2019 was it, Matt? Yeah. Yeah, James did all right. You know, we had a good time. We're staying in a hotel. You know, living life as you do. James made the mistake of staying out with the French that night. Don't know if any of you have partied with the French, but it is a messy time. There's often pens involved and all sorts of other fun stuff.
The Lumiere
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Temporaire.
For the audio listeners, we're now holding our fingers over our eyes to symbolize painted on glasses.
Glasses.
The French
yeah,
are famous for at their parties.
The
absolutely.
Lumiere.
You're welcome, Amy.
So yeah. So anyway, me and most of us called it a night fairly early because heavy day. We're not partiers, me and that, so we went back to the hotel. I
What do you
fall
mean?
asleep.
Insult me just out of nowhere. I'm the hardest partier. Everyone knows this.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
Sorry,
derailing.
We've got
Sorry.
community questions
No,
on
we got-
your
we got-
partying habits.
got-
Matt. We'll get
We got 2 minutes 10 seconds to steal my chicken. Yeah, so can we?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. I'll bow down on this occasion.
Take it
Well,
away,
anyway.
Andy. Just ignore him, please.
I'll go
Oh,
on mute.
Everyone does anyway. So yeah, me and Matt, get back to the hotel. I'm sharing a room with James. Matt's sharing a room with Lee. We have a whole funny story about Lee's birthday that weekend as well, and the most hilarious birthday song we've ever heard. But yeah, so I fall asleep, sleeping away. It's a great time. I wake up, who knows what time. James is out of the room, and all I hear is a trickling sound. Now, I'm not very aware of what's going on at this point. I'm just waking up going, what on earth is that noise? It's like water's running. I come to my senses a bit. James is doing a Matt Brind here. He's gone to the corner of the room. He's just peeing in the corner. It's thankfully it was in his own board bag. It isn't in his own shoes. So no one else. So naturally, I get up. I say, James, what on earth are you doing, mate? And he's just absolutely off his tits. Slaughtered. So yeah, I push him towards the bathroom. Say, James, you need to go to the bathroom, mate. At this point, he tries to leave the room. So I redirect him back to the toilet, push him in the toilet, and shut the door. Then I go back to sleep. Well, I get back in bed. Then he comes back out, tries to leave the room again. It's all right. I push him into bed. We go to sleep. Later that night, I wake up to the sound of our door shutting. I'm like, what the bloody hell now? Look over, James is still there. I'm like, right, okay. The next day, James shows me some pictures of us asleep in bed that the French have sent him when they're stuck into our room in the middle of the night and taking pictures of us. So, yeah, that was a fun experience. That's the French for you, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thankfully, we're going to go spend the next 10 days with him, so I'm sure we'll have plenty more tales. But
The
yeah,
best part was we convinced James to do a shoey in the morning without telling him he'd peed in his shoes beforehand. Oh, it was the best.
yeah.
Yeah,
That was so Matt is not the only one to have a peeing story in somebody's clothes, but James just had the courtesy of doing it in his own.
Yeah. Although I've started to realise, I think this might be a conspiracy theory because I never sniffed Matt Caden's clothes and they didn't feel damp when I picked them up. So I think I may have just been enjoying just enjoying a nice, lovely look out the window with my tackle out, sure. Just a nice, enjoyable look out the window in the middle of the night. and not actually peeing. I should have sniffed the clothes. I think everyone's out to just tarnish my reputation, frankly. But Andy, thank you so much for coming on my podcast. You're free to go and finish cooking your dinner now. I'm so pleased you joined us to regale us and our many fans with your excellent tale.
Yeah. Just before you go, sorry, Matt, I didn't mean to butt in there.
That's okay. I'll allow it.
Andy, thank you for joining us on our podcast.
Thanks, boys.
It's been absolutely wonderful having you on. Please feel free to pop back anytime. We've obviously got a question to come later on. But yeah, unfortunately, now I'm going to go back to almost certain death by boredom.
Lower quality from here on out.
Yeah, absolutely.
With your brother, and hope that he doesn't, try to take over too much more.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Andy. It's been a joy to have you on yet again.
I look
He's the first repeat guest, right? First repeat guest.
Well, we've had a.
Well, I'm a host. I'm hosting,
Yeah, that's it.
This is a hosting slot.
You could stay as a guest host potentially. We could have you
That's
down
right.
as host.
There's too much awesome in this room already with me, Dan, and Slog. So we can't overload it. So on that one, boys.
There you go. A lovely little surprise for you boys.
I
hope you enjoyed it.
Up for James, that was.
I thought it was going to be better than just holding a phone up to the screen for a long story. Like if it was a short, 10, 20-second thing, it works great. But for, how long was Andy on there? 10 minutes?
I look forward to getting in touch with Mail there and trying to secure some of those photos. Of the hospital to lay over the top of that.
I can see sharing Zoom ID calls are going to be a thing with a guest now.
yeah. Because
I'm finally a trendsetter. Are you saying I could finally be a trendsetter?
Only if people actually do it. That's the problem. We've got to forward these links. Who do we know who they forward them on to?
So 2006.
I'm not interested.
So basically,
I want to hear more pissing stories. Is there pissing stories in 2006?
Nah, I was
Skip on then. 7?
super tame back then. Skip. The next one would be a pooing story, and that was Ollie's. He's already told it. That demo at Blenheim Palace. That was great.
Great story.
But we went from there. Actually, it's a fun fact.
We're back to your early competition days.
Yeah. So
in the series, how did you fare in your first year?
First full season? I got to the finals in the border cross of the under-18s at Swanbuck. Raced against Tom Reed, Reese Crilly, and I think it might have been Jake Goggin. Went 2x2 with Reese in one of the corners and hadn't really raced that close to anyone before. Of course, I got to the finals, but it was never like wheel to wheel. It kind of freaked me out a little bit, and I just power slide. So I came fourth in that one. But then we went to Green Man, and we went there with Team Scum and Eat Dirt as well, of course. But I was riding with Karina and Chuck, and they went up to the hill before me. On the day of the competition to get some extra practice in, and I'd woken up late and cooked my porridge and stuff, and then went up a bit later. And they were coming back. I was like, "Oh, how'd it go?" They said, "Oh yeah, we managed to go from the gates." I was like, "Oh, no way, okay." So I then marched almost all the way to the top. Started from the doubles, and then did that bit, and then I went to the start gate and went from there, and managed to get all the way down. I was like, "Yeah, that's awesome." And then when they came back up later, turns out they went from the gate between the two fields
halfway down.
So I'm got peer pressured by accident into going from all the very top, but actually it worked out great because that's the first time I qualified for the elite, and I actually qualified 8th, which I couldn't believe, and Reddy Miles qualified 9th. So that was my first massive oh my gosh moment.
And that's got to have stoked you as well, considering your first visions of mountain boarding being at Green Man, and then you go there and pull out.
Absolutely. And then that weekend was one of the big ones, I guess, in the history for me, because that's where then I met Tom Kirkman for the first time. Had a bit of chatting with him. He has a great quote. He gave a great quote to me there, which I'll share it in a second. But he then spoke to AJ about me at that event because I'd qualified so well and stuff. And then AJ came up to me just before the freestyle competition and said, "Oh, Tom was talking to me about you. Just wanted to say, like, yeah, keep up the good work. We're going to be keeping an eye on you, see how you get on, like progressing through the rest of the year and next year sort of thing." So then I got mad stoked on that because, oh my gosh, MBS might be interested in sponsoring me. And yeah, Tom was talking to me at the top of the start gates and stuff. He's like, "Oh yeah, so you're getting into the sport at a good time. There's starting to be some money in it now." This is 2006. And we all know what happened since then. But hey ho, you never know. But so that really got me stoked. And then, so my first race in the elite was with Rennie. And that's a funny one too. So back, it was the old.
Matt, remind me how many bedrooms you got in your mansion that you're currently sat in.
There's four. There's four. So this is the games room. This is our second spare room in case somebody wants to stay. This comes out as a double. So
all afforded through Mountainboarding.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely not my career in IT security. It's actually just that board across spreadsheet, not even my ability. I made that board across spreadsheet and everyone's been into it. So, and it was donations only, and the generosity is blowing me away. But anyway, back to the race. So it was the old ATVA start gates that were on the trailer, those awesome ones. So they're like 6 foot off the ground to begin with. And it was set back a bit before you go into that left, right, and then the double. Mm-hmm. Hadn't been down the track behind anyone at this point, only just done time trials and with myself. A couple of practice races, I think, with maybe like Sonny and that. But I was hyper competitive back then, so I would just, what tire pressure you on? 5 psi more. Okay, I've got to get there first. So I start this race with Rennie. We both pull in. We're in the middle gates, and Rennie goes, "Oh, watch out, Matt! Watch out, Matt!" As he grabs me and pulls himself ahead of me because I got a better start out of the gate than him. So he pulls himself in front of me as we drop into the first corner. Dust in the air, can't see. Boom, doubled like I'd been doing every time over that double, but got the takeoff a little wrong. Landed in the back seat. Boom, butt down, out straight away. So a really strong go into the elite, but it stuck with me forever. Like, no idea how I managed to qualify 8th. Well, I think because a lot of people were taking that chicane before going through the gate, whereas I was like, "Oh, those out there are pointless." So I just bombed it through every time. I think that made quite a big difference. Not taking the prescribed route, taking the straight line through the middle of 2 corners.
The Beeren line.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, the Beeren line. And yeah, it was sick. Like, watching the freestyle, watching the boys do everything they do. Like, I didn't qualify for the elite for the freestyle for I don't know how long, probably 2007 before I got there. But I was trying to 360 over a banner there because I just heard from AJ. So there's an MBS banner and a kicker in front of it with Max Track on it. So I was like, yeah, Max Track kicker 360 over that. That'll be cool. That'll stoke them up. Landed it every try in the practice, and then competition came around, fell off every time, and that was me done. But that was like the big like competition mini breakthrough, I'd say. Like, that was when I felt like I'd arrived and started to actually have a chance competing, and I never not qualified for the elite after that. So that was my first time. That's the first and best qualification for like a couple years, but I never dropped back into the under 18s.
And you're pulling 3s at that point?
Yeah, just backside 3s, couldn't front side. It was like start of 2000. It was end of 2006 where I learned to frontside 3. I'd been saying all of 2006, "Oh yeah, I want a backflip by the end of the year." It came to Coastal at the final round. We had those big, massive yellow Skeleton Coast jerseys. Yeah. And I was like, "Nah, I don't fancy it on these kickers." So I jumped over Tom instead. Tom Kirkman stood on the last jump for me, so I boosted a big melon over him. That was really cool of him. And just, yeah, got me even more stoked. But James from Skeleton Coast really wanted to do the flip, so he tried it and did the classic headbang. Landed. Everyone goes running like, "Oh my gosh, is he okay?" And he just, yes! Yeah, because he tried it. But then I did my first flip at hair down, start of the season 2007. And I joined the MBS team at that point, got like a team vest and everything, and I was mad pumped. And it all started, each year just kind of like snowball and snowball sort of thing. Just with passion and desire to progress more than anything. Like, it's always been, I want to be better, not necessarily I want to beat so and so. I want to beat so and so. It's always been I want to be better than I was last year, and that was a huge drive. Like I'd be sitting in school doing stickman mountain board pictures, draw a little roll in, a kicker, landing, and I'd do stickman going along, doing a backflip, and just constantly thinking about, right, what am I going to try this weekend? What's the next trick I'm trying? And that's
obviously, I mean, I assume you're getting influenced by the riders that you're seeing at comps and when you're out and about.
Yeah.
We're probably talking there 2006. Would ATB mags still?
Yeah, so I got
there?
I got a lot of the ATB mags. That stopped like 2006, didn't it? But I was seeing loads of Tom and that in there.
Obviously
Scuzz and then Mountainboard mag.
Yeah.
So seeing all of those and getting me stoked, and like the first time I made it into a picture in ATB mag properly, I was really pumped on that. So I did make it in when I was at Haredown for my first contest, my first comp, but I was in the background. Leon was laying in the drop-off at the end of the border cross.
Right.
But there's me coming along, riding for a month on 15 PSI, and they're like, jump over him. I'm like, I can't do that. So I go around. So they had to use an earlier picture. It's just a random picture of his laying in the drop-off instead of having someone jumping over him. That was an ATV. I was like, I'm in the background. Oh my gosh. And then, what was it? 2006, they did the free cross for the first time at Out of Grass.
Yeah.
So the freestyle border cross.
I'm
And
glad
somehow
you brought that up because I had forgotten about that until
so
that
good.
particular style of event.
Yeah. So somehow miraculously that first year I came fourth in that. So I got a picture in ATB mag racing on the normal border cross, but with like a shifty, and I was racing with Sonny, I think, or Pete. So that was really cool. But yeah, I think that year I was like, I'm just going to race as hard as I can and do a cool grab. No tricks, just cool grabs and try and get through on the racing. Somehow made it through. I think the semis and maybe even the quarters as well, the people in front of me crashed, so I just rode around them and got through. But then the second year it came back, was doing threes and stuff, and that was the year where you might remember that cool picture of Rennie's halfway around a three, Joe's halfway around the rodeo, and they're touching in the air.
Yeah.
So that year I was doing tricks and stuff, and still came fourth. But that was such a cool event. I'm desperate for something like that to come back, either a free cross event or a dual speed style. Like that would be dreams. Absolute dreams. It was such a cool one. So for those who don't know, it was border cross freestyle border cross, so free cross. So there was 2 jumps. You're racing 4 riders at the same time down the track, 2 jumps, and you're judged, and then you get a position for you finishing the race, position for your tricks, and then it's the combination. And then I think it was the freestyle result is the tiebreaker if there's a tie. So you come second and third, and then third and second. Whoever had better freestyle goes through. So super cool. Andy Potter, I think, was like the guy behind that, wasn't he?
It was a really cool, unique concept. And I have actually heard that the IMA are actually planning a World Free Cross Championship.
Oh yeah.
Because they've run out of things. There's only the downhill left for you to get. So maybe they'll have to start running.
Yeah, we've got a bit of course though. That's the problem
as well.
I'd love to. We just got to find a course.
The downhill.
I always wondered if we could tweak the 4-cross at Harthill to make that second corner a bit more accessible, a few more riders around it. Then there was potential there to get a couple of tricks in, but it never came around. But hey, it would be great. It would be great to get a free cross. We just got to find somewhere and probably build a course bespoke for it, perhaps. But hey yo. Yeah, so yeah, and
2007. You're doing there all right. Are you still?
We're nearly an hour in, and I'm already on 2007.
I know. I'm trying
sorry.
to keep the wheels moving, Matt. But
it's going to start coming quicker from here, I swear, because there's like foundational works going on here. But so like end of 2006, I think is when I got picked up for the MBS core team. 2007 is where I really started to go bigger on the freestyle. Was qualifying for the elite for everything. 2008, just still pushing on even more, but that's when I started hooking up a bit more with Ben Rye, Theo Ackworth,
for the project,
Callum Beamish for Project Doc, Josh Maddox.
For those that don't know,
were you doing demos for MBS as well at this point?
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. So I think the demo ramp came around in 2007. and I came along to the first ever one that they did. But it was a bit too daunting for me. It must have been, maybe it was tail end of 2006 then, but first time I saw the demo ramp, it was a bit too daunting. Because it's tall, 60 degrees, 12-foot radius, so it's quite whippy. Especially for someone that hadn't ridden a roll in that big before. But then I think, the following years when I started doing them. So my first demo was at the ski and board show at the NEC. I've got some cool pictures. Some of the pictures I sent you, Dan, before this were actually from that. Paul Crilly got some cool pictures. Again, another Andy Potter genius idea for a game. We were paired up and we played Snakes and Ladders. And there was tricks in each one. It's a video idea that I still need to steal. It's a game idea that I still need to steal for the Brind Bros channel. But so we did Snakes and Ladders. So you roll a massive dice with the crowd there, and you move along, and then one of the pairs got to do this trick, but you had to alternate, or you couldn't go more than twice in a row, or something like that. If you fall, you stay where you started.
When the ladder's only 5 rungs long, and how many episodes did the Emlins run? 2 episodes on that. If we're an average game,
Snakes and Ladders will be easy because it'll be more basic tricks, but we do a shortened board and a big ladder. But it's one of those. But that was really cool. And that's where I started trying. So I was at that point, I'm doing 3s, 5s, backflips, rodeos. And at that demo, I started trying my first backflips in the quarter pipe.
How did you start learning inversions? Because most people will go or spin without even thought of really hurting themselves. But the moment people start inverting, there's a thought of, I could land on my head here. I'm assuming, do you have access to trampolines or anything like that?
So we had a trampoline because we started mountainboarding. We thought, this would be really cool. We like trampolines anyway. But on the mountain board side, because doing a side flip on the trampoline is quite similar, but it's not the same. It was actually a Bugs. So I'm trying to figure out the timeline here, but it must have been 2006. There was some kind of event at Bugs, and I remember sessioning the foam pit for an hour, maybe 2, just trying to get over the fear. I keep hitting it and not doing it, keep hitting it, not doing it. It's really hard to do that, getting the legs over the first time. But once I got them over, then it went from there. It was like, I get this, I understand it. But I had to take quite a lot of time to take the backside out of my flips, because I naturally flip over my back shoulder quite a lot, which made it quite hard to land on dirt because I'm coming in at such a not straight angle. So then any opportunity where a foam pit came around, I'd be doing it into there until I start 2007. It was Tom Haycock was there. He was backflipping the old metal frame ramp on the first one at Hairdown, and he was doing it. So I was like, okay, I talked to him a bit about how it was, and I just sacked up.
Went for it in the competition.
Huh?
Went for it in the competition.
No, this wasn't a competition. It was just a session. Tom Haycock just happened to be there at a general session. We were there having a practice, just having a general ride, because it's only a couple of hours away. So it was one that was worth traveling to every now and again, for sure. Like bigger jumps than XBP, and a bigger, faster track. Like the XBP track was cool, but it wasn't. Hairdown was just another level at the end of the day, wasn't it? And it was a couple of jumps linked together. So that was quite cool as well. But so body armor on, sending in the first few, went to my natural against the backside, and then I was like, okay, I had to straighten it up, and then rest is history, really. So demo started for me like 2007. That was really cool. And then, for years after that, till it kind of stopped.
Yeah. We all know what started to happen around the credit crunch era, and
but the nice thing was that when it stopped, all that stuff went to Bugs. So like the airbag kicker is the MBS demo kicker from way back. That's why it hasn't got like the uprights at the back, because that's what went over the front of the Land Rover. So they've cut out the back and that, and a couple of the ramps on the hill were like the quarter pipe where it's been cut down and things like that. So it wasn't wasted. That's the thing I really like about it.
I did not know that, and that's kind of nice to know now, that if you're going to Bugs and sessioning that airbag, you are literally riding a little bit of mountain board history and learning on a bit of history. That's really
Absolutely. It's I've been saying to Emlyn recently, like, so I think it still needs a bit of tweaking. Like the ground's still a bit downhill into it, so you can't generate as much pop as we used to when it was a demo.
Mhm.
But I've been giving him the example of like, look at what we did back in the day on the demos, because Emlyn did some too, if my memory serves. So you can go, yeah, you've got a direct comparison there. You can go, this is the jump that Ollie Morrison did a backside cork 7 and shat his pants on. Oh my gosh, you know, you can be a part of that history. But it is cool.
Now it all becomes clear why Ollie doesn't really want to hit the airbag.
I have no idea why.
It's to do with the kick and not the airbag.
Well, you know what? I sent him a message this weekend because I saw he was at Madness Festival riding the airbag there, riding Arno and Nikki's airbag. So I said, look, you got no excuses now. Mine's just a bit bigger, but you know how to ride an airbag now, and I've seen you do it. He didn't reply. Anyway.
Wow. I don't know what to say. I don't want to speculate, but
it's fine.
Maybe
he's just intimidated by me. It's all.
Maybe
he always has been.
His primary mailbox or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, no. But to be fair, shout out to Ollie, because when I didn't want to freestyle, I wanted to race like Ollie. So seeing Ollie in the mag and stuff, Ollie was the guy. I was like, yeah, I want to race like Bomber. Like he's the guy. I want to race like him, because he didn't do much freestyle back then either. And I was like, yeah, I want to model my riding off of Ollie. So yeah, big shout out to Ollie for the early inspo there. It was it was cool. And then I realized how fun tricks were. And then obviously Tom became the idol. Sorry, Ollie.
It's worth noting that without wanting to spoiler alert, that even though you now or then made a beeline for freestyle, you still can you still just about hold your own at racing as well.
Well, yeah, it's kind of funny because, well, later in the story, of course, I did all that big stunty stuff. We'll get to it. But yeah, I said to, well, all right, we won't. I did all that big stunty stuff to not have any spoilers. And I said to Roger when we were going to a rhythm cross event, like, okay, everyone knows me for freestyle. I won the 2012 World Champs and that. And I was like, okay, yeah. But now the World Border Cross is coming. I was like, okay, I want to take this opportunity if I can to show people I can race too. Like, because outside of the UK, obviously people in the UK knew what I could do, because we all know what each other can do, because we all go to every event and see each other racing border cross downhill freestyle. So I was like, okay, I want to make a conscious effort to try and like show that I can race really good too. And then World Border Cross, that's because the World Border Cross was coming up. And then, I had some good showings there too. So I was pretty chuffed.
Yeah. Did you, we've got to skip back, haven't we? We can't sort of just pick it up.
All right, I'll reel off some highlights. So like, we're talking like 2007-8, start doing demos. 2009 was the first time I won the UK overall title. First time I got a medal in border cross as well ever.
It's obviously elite class there.
Yeah, elite class, yeah. So I got my first concussion at the Edge, 2009.
5 events that year?
Yeah, I think it was still 5 at that point. At minimum, it was 4. So I know it went down to 4. I can't remember exactly when, but it went down to 4 for a long time until we went down to 1 in 2016 onwards. But so the overall there, so I got in the border cross, I got to the finals for the elite for the first time, 2009 at the Edge. That was against JC, Rennie Miles, and Pete Tatham. It's very hazy. All I can remember is watching the clip of the racing back, because I got concussed the next day and can't remember the weekend anymore.
Right.
But we go in and it's dry. That's the important thing. And there's an inside line on the first corner at the Edge, and it works well in the wet because it's slower, but it's really ridiculous hard in the dry. And both Rennie and JC went for it. So that just left Pete to cruise to first, me to cruise to second. Sweet. First podium in the border cross. And then I think I got my first freestyle podium the next day as well. So that was a big battle between Joe Dixon and Tom Reed for first and second there. And then I did my first cork 5s to dirt there on the second table at the Edge, back when it was massive. And it was when I was going I landed some 7s as well, flat, but I was going for my first cork 7s as well. And that's when I got the concussion. I think apparently I didn't hit my head hard, but I had a couple of little knocks, and where it was super hot, not many people were going. And this is like way back in my Energizer Bunny heyday. Like, if no one's going, I'm going. Like I had the energy to go, I'll go. So I got a bit dehydrated, I guess, and a bit of sunstroke maybe, but a few times hitting my head, and then the last one barely hit my head apparently. But from there, it was just, the 30-second memory repetition. There's a picture of me on the podium, like holding a stuffed bear from a girlfriend at the time, just looking really cool. I was there like this. What? Why am I up here? And Joe and Tom are celebrating, like, and I'm just like, what the hell's going on? Where am I? And then shout out to Joe Dixon for driving me back to Out to Grass after that, where Nick and Alison looked after me for a few days till I was okay to head back home.
Oh, bless.
But Joe got well annoyed with me because I was just constantly on repeat.
Where have we been, Joe?
Yeah.
How'd they get on, Joe?
Basically, yeah. What happened? Oh, all right. Where are we going? But and then through the rest of the year, I managed to get second in the freestyle overall. Second, so Joe Dixon got first in the freestyle overall for the elite. Pete Tatham got first in the board cross overall for the elite, but I got second in both, and that gave me combined first. And then from there, I managed to reel off 9 years in a row for the elite/pro overall. So I was pretty chuffed on that. And it was kind of like, it was a story of who's leaving the competition scene or not, like against who the battles were with. So like 2010 and 11, maybe 12. No, 2010 and 11 was me versus Joel mostly for border cross. And I think Joe started really fading out then in the freestyle. So it was me versus Josh Maddox a little bit and Chris Horsley. But not to have too much of a dig at them, but it was kind of like, I've got to land clean and it's fine. 2012 came around. James Wanklin gave me a lesson in the freestyle, but I managed to clean sweep the border cross. So that was the first year as well, 2012, when I started to run the events. So I joined the ATPA 2009. Jamie Johnston's mum, we're at the AGM, the treasurer had stepped down. She turns to me and goes, "What are you going to do at uni right now?" "I'm about to start a maths degree." "I nominate Matt for treasurer," because that makes sense. So I came in as treasurer then, kind of mostly just stayed in the background, like trying to figure out what's going on here, like did what I had to do, but didn't really get involved in the events much, just kind of gave my opinion every now and again. Not that I didn't feel like I had much weight at that point, so I didn't put too much in. But then 2012 was the first year I started running the events, because I'd seen Roger Swannell had been doing them for a couple of years at that point, and all paper based. I was like, there's a better way, and that's when I started to do spreadsheets for the comps. Bigger iterative process.
The XO King of Essex.
Yeah, basically that's where it all started. 2012. I spent the winter beforehand getting everything sorted. I did initially start by writing a bespoke program in C# for freestyle, which then promptly crashed and we lost all the data at the first comp. We had to start again. So from there, I went to just spreadsheets only and Control S a lot, save that thing constantly in case the laptop gets fried in the sun.
We could do a whole episode on spreadsheets.
Oh, easy. But we won't go too far into it. But yeah, that's where it all started. And I really, really struggled that year with doing both competing and organizing. It was a lot harder than I thought it would. And it came down to the finals at Hair Down. If I won, I would at least tie the freestyle title with James. If I didn't, he would take the title. And it was going to rain on the Sunday, so we squeezed the border cross and freestyle into the same day. So I dropped in. No, I didn't drop in. I strapped in to have a practice run in the freestyle. Roger Swannell comes over and goes, "No, you can't. You've got to organize. You've got to tell us what to do." So I didn't get any practice before the comp. But that was my job. I'd volunteered for it. I put myself forwards, and
sounds like a fucking excuse for what you're about.
It does. Oh, I've got another one as well. I've got another one as well. So that year as well was a massive year for me, because that's when I won the World Freestyle Championships. So that's the funny coincidence, is I won the World Freestyle Championships. James won the UK Freestyle Championships ahead of me. But I knew early in the year that it was a demo style ramp. So a big roll in into a gap kicker. So I went, you know what? No switch. No point, because I'm not going to hit that switch. Like the year or two beforehand, I was like, my switch game was way up there. And that year I completely sacked it off, because right, I've got a plan this year. I'm going to win the World Freestyle Championships. I'm going to put together a promo video, and I'm going to get on Nitro Circus with those two things. Nitro Circus Live anyway. So sacked off switch, doesn't matter. No one's going to care in a video that's going to see it from Nitro Circus side if it's switch or not, because they wouldn't really understand. I'm not going to hit that ramp switch. I'm not going to hit the World Freestyle Championships ramp switch. Who am I competing against there? Joe and Ollie mostly, and Nicky Gears, because Nicky back then was like a big sender, but not super consistent. So I was like, Nicky's going to play a wild card there, but definitely Joe Dixon and Ollie Morrison. So I was going down to Josh Maddox's place, getting practice in the foam pit and that, sacked off switch. So James just destroyed me at the UK Champs because he was just dominating switch. That was his like, I feel like that was James's breakout year. He'd been around the scene for a good few years before then, but his switch that year was just out of this world, like top draw, like knocked out of the park out of nowhere. Over winter, his progression was incredible. So no, I don't want to take anything away from him. He beat me. Like, yes, there you go. But yeah, so I managed to win the World Freestyle Championships there. In Russia, the one where Ollie had his career ender, unfortunately, had his passport stolen, borrowed some money off of me and others, which then probably got stolen or lost. And yeah, crazy party, that one. We were waiting around for like 2 hours to get a cab afterwards, just really random. But yeah, and then yeah, made a video, put a video together, and then yeah, I sent it out to like every stream I could think. I think there was 4 different ways I decided I was going to try and contact Nitro Circus Live. Sent that to them. Just started my semester at uni, sent that to them, went to sleep, woke up the next morning, there's an email reply like, hey, yeah, thanks for sending your stuff. I had 3 different people send it to me. I'm Dove, I'm the like floor manager, I'm the athlete manager from Nitro Circus. Looks like you can really ride this, and we get loads of videos, but like they clearly can't ride anything like this. We'd be pumped. We were saying, oh, we need another contraption. We'd love to get you in, yada yada yada. I was like, oh my gosh. I went to sleep and I woke up and I've been invited to come on Nitro Circus Live for the Euro tour. This is insane.
How does that manifest? You said
that's the right word. That was a year of manifestation. Like, yeah, it was a year of manifestation. I had a plan. Start of the year, I'm gonna win the World Freestyle Championships, put a video together, get onto Nitro Circus Live. Tick tick tick. Like unbelievable. Like unbelievable, ridiculous. And then yeah, so that was another like massive breakout year for me. I feel like, because it was the first time like on a international stage. Well, I'd been to France a few times and stuff, but winning the Worlds was like, that's the first world title, so that was a huge one for me. And then of course getting onto Nitro Circus Live. So I then deferred the first semester of that year. That was supposed to be my final year at uni. Deferred the first semester to the following year so I could go on tour around Europe with Nitro. And then got to Nitro Circus Live for the first show. It was the first time in Europe as well, which was really cool. Didn't know anyone, of course, and they do a welcome meal for the first stop. This was in Stockholm in Sweden. Stadium looks like a Death Star. It was crazy. It was really cool. Welcome meal. So they introduce new riders, say anything that's kind of changed. So as they're introducing people, going down the list of a few new people there, they go, oh yeah, we've got Matt Brind here. He's going to be riding a mountain board. All of a sudden, Travis Pastrana stands up from the side, goes, "You're on a mountain board? Yeah, good luck with that one." I'm just there like, "Thanks, you're really cool. Thanks."
I did actually message him. No reply.
Oh, can't believe it. We're like best mates. That's so insane.
I even put in there pictures of you riding the Nitro Circus just to jog his memory. To be fair, I think I'm just the primary mailbox.
I mean, Sam Nicholas met him at the weekend at Goodwood Festival of Speed. I'm sure he name dropped me and would have got the recognition. I'm sure he would have, but no. So it's because they've had a bit of a ropey history of mountain boards before then. So Oconee had been doing the practice sessions, and then he had his speed wobble moment on the 50-footer. I think we've all seen that clip of the boom into the up face, fall down. Special Greg had tried to do it as well for a Nitro Circus TV show and rode straight into the cameraman and broke his brand new camera. And every experience they had was kind of a little bit sketchy. Like, I know the background now, which I didn't know then. So like Oconee and Cody had been riding the ramp. All we'd all seen was that clip of Oconee like crashing, but they'd been nailing it for days before that point. But yeah, it fell through. So yeah, Travis is like, oh, this guy's going to die. Yeah, good luck with that one. So I was like, oh, great. This is off to a good start. But, you know, it's fine. I got talking to Beaver, the skater, and talking to Ryan Williams as well, the scooter rider. So we kind of like, that was my little crew there that I started to get to know, and the Godfreys and stuff. And then first show, so I had 5 runs of practice. I got to see the ramp for the first time. And it's one of those where you look at it and you go, yeah, this is fine. Like, the size of the roll-in and the size of the ramp I was hitting at that point. So I was hitting the 32-footer. You've got you've got the short side and the long side. Long side always stays around 50 foot. Short side's at 32, and then they take a section out to take it to 40 foot for like best trick stuff back then anyway. So I was only riding a 32 foot on the first tour. But you see it and you go, you know, this works. Like you can tell that sort of setup, if it's going to work, if it's going to be close, if it's not going to work. And I was like, yeah, full confidence this is going to work. So straight up to the top when it was practice time, counted the number of steps because I was interested. It was 67 to get to the top. And then just strapped in and just went. I was like, there's no point waiting around. First run, so I had 5 practice runs. First run, I did just a grab. Second run, I was like, okay, I'm not going to have long. There's like a 30-minute window for practice before the first show. And the first show was a back-to-back show, 2 in one day, only time they've ever done it. Mad. Second run, I went for a 3, but over-rotated because it's massive and went to like 415, corked a little bit, like, oh, whoops, shouldn't have done that.
Backside.
Then, yeah, backside. So the next run, I went for I did 2 grabs, 2 straight airs. Then I went for the backside 3, went to 5 almost. So then I went for front side 5 instead, over-rowed to 7, but manualed out. So then I went for a front 7, nailed it clean. Travis runs out of the stands, comes down and goes, high five. He's like, oh my gosh, that was so sick. I had no idea you could do stuff like that on a mountain board. I was like, that is instant redemption I was looking for. Oh my days. Like you couldn't wipe the grin off of my face. Like it was just the best. And that was the end of practice. So massive 50-foot tall rolling, 32-foot gap at that point. I get 5 practice runs before my first show. So that was good.
What did
it went
on your first show then? And how many runs were you going to show?
Back then, I only had 4 runs. And like you contracted, like you don't have tricks contracted in per se, but you have tricks named in there. Like you've got to do this sort of trick or equivalent. And it's all super choreographed, which is how it should be. So you've got a sheet, who's going when and what run they're doing. So I knew what I was going to do. We'd planned it in advance. So I think it was starting off, I was doing a grab. No, I was doing a 3, a flip. And then in the second half, I was going to do, I tried a cork 5 and then a 9 or something where I did a 7, then a 9. I landed all of them, so I was pumped, which was really good. And then the second show was the same day, so we then had 2 hours between, no practice again, and then the second show. And then the second show, I did a 3, a flip, a 9, and a double. Like, because I was like, well, so I kind of went into Nitro like, okay, this is a chance for mountain boarding. I've got to like really put a good effort in here. I've got to put a good showing in, like do my absolute best to make mountain boarding look cool. Obviously, with the hindsight of age, I should have been a bit more chill and recognized that I'm in an arena and a show with motorbikes, BMXs, scooters, skateboards. The mountain board's not going to shine so much, but just enjoy yourself and be more and just send it regardless. But so yeah, I took it super serious, of course. Back then, I wasn't like grumpy with people, but you know what I mean. I was like, right, I'm up there. I've got a job to do. So I put my headphones in to put music on to just focus in and right, I've got to land these runs and put the whole crowd away and like not play up to them or anything, which is it's what they want in a show like that. You fall off, they want you like, yeah, oh yeah, like all playful and stuff. But I was like, nah, I'm cool. I'm the cool guy. Like land a trick, don't care. Like, you know. Oh, what a poser.
Steve's arms down.
Yeah, Steve's arms and everything. So yeah, it was cool. And then like the next show, similar sort of setup. I had my 4 runs dialed there. I'd be doing 9s and doubles in the big air section, and I'd be warming up with a backflip and a 5. I upgraded the 3 to a 5 because it was easier to land. Just because of the sheer amount of air time. I find that big an air, I find it easier to 5 than 3 or 7. Yeah. 7s are easier than 3s is crazy, but you just need something to do in the air. And then yeah, we get to show 4. Did show 4, and then show 5.
Hang on, Matt. Run us through the tour stops for this first tour.
1 second. I can't remember the next stops. I think it was Berlin and Hamburg after that. So we did 2 in 2 in Stockholm.
Love that.
I got the brochure from the first one still. Where did we go? I got people. I got them to sign it and stuff as well, which was really cool. Like some of them signed it over the names, like Josh Sheehan and all that jazz. Sick.
I have to say, I feel quite privileged to have had a flick through that book myself.
It's pretty rad, isn't it?
It is
Where's the dates?
exceptionally good.
Let's go with, there was 2 in Stockholm. Then I'm pretty sure we went to Berlin after that and did the O2 in Berlin. Then we went to Hamburg. And then we went to Vienna after that. And it's in Vienna where it all went a bit wrong. It doesn't have the stops in here. It's just, okay. Well, it was definitely those ones. Just maybe not in that order. But yeah, so Vienna, it's all I remember is it's the Friday. We got practice on the Friday. I remember speaking to Chris Haffey, the rollerblader. All I remember is being at the top of the roll-in, like, oh, is it just me or is the airbag a little bit hard at this point? Like right now, like the airbag you stop on at the end of the run. And at this point, I'd started hitting the 40-footer, but just with front flips for the time being. So it was on because they don't use it on the 32-foot very much. It's all for like the trikes and stuff. So they very rarely have practice with it on the 32-foot. So I started riding the 40 because I thought I can do this and I'll do front flips just to make sure I clear the gap to begin with. Yeah. And it gave me a bit more time to, just dial in and have an actual ride before the shows. So I don't remember dropping in from there. I just remember saying, is it a bit hard? And he said, yeah, I think so. So I said, I'll talk to Dove after this run and see if they can let the airbag down a bit. Don't remember dropping in, but nailed the front flip apparently, hit the airbag. And like, if this chair was the airbag, I'd go into it with my back and my shoulders and then come back out and ride. But it was too hard, hit it and bammed straight down to my face, broke my jaw across the crease here, across the bend.
Bounced from
the bag to the floor on my face, I guess. So that was the Friday. I only remember being at the top of the roll-in, and then the next thing I remember is it's Sunday. I'm in a hospital in Vienna. I've got a hook in the top of my mouth, hook in the bottom, and bands holding my mouth shut. And I'm just confused as hell. I've got these same questions going over and over again in my head because I'm still concussed. And I go, oh, where am I? What's going on? And I see this piece of paper on the side table. I pick it up. Every question I have in order is on there with the answer. Because the athlete support lady, Ella, she had gone to the hospital with me because the tour had to move on. So she'd gone to the hospital with me to begin with and then stayed in Vienna until my dad got there. I was 21 at the point, but so concussed and like out of it that they couldn't leave me without someone there to help me out. So I wake up and I'm super confused, big pain, mouth's wide shut. I just reading these things and I just wish I'd paid more attention in German at GCSE, frankly. But on the sunny side, they were a specialist in maxillofacial injuries, so mouth and tongue and stuff. They did the first tongue transplant in the world, so they did a bang up job. But yeah, some good times. That was a pretty low point though, in all fairness. Like I said, I took it super seriously, and more than like I didn't care about maybe like letting myself down. I felt like I'd let the mountainboarding community down by getting injured so soon on the tour. It's supposed to be 15 shows, and I was planning to get all the way through all of them, absolutely nail it, and like I'd started to build up a rep on the tour as well as like the consistency guy. Like I landed everything. It was super rare for me to fall off in a show. Like
Matt passed me a full face Brind.
Yeah, that's where that pass comes from when I come back to the tour. Yeah. So and like they do MVC. We'll say it's most valuable circus member. It's definitely not the swear word, is what it actually stands for. It's child friendly, this podcast. I never got one, but they do honorable mentions beforehand to the people who were in the running, and I got an honorable mention every single show because I was just landing everything. But then so I was getting super down in the hospital, like my mouth's wide shut, I'm in pain, I'm not on the show anymore, like I feel like I've let mountainboarding down. But that's when like everyone was super supportive on like Facebook and stuff and reaching out, so that did help to lift me back up.
I'm pretty sure I remember having a conversation with you around that time.
Yeah, it was really nice, but like you know how it is. Like I was still concussed for another day or so after that, even though I kind of remember it. I was still concussed. Like so, you go through those cycles of like kind of forgetting, and then I'd sit there like up at night because I'm in a lot of pain. I'd push the button for extra pain meds, but it's still quite sore. And just watching the videos because they were doing like live video, like not live videos, but like little highlights videos back then. So I'd watch them and just like see what I'd done. Like, oh, I was doing that. That's really cool. And then I'd remember that I'm hurt. I'm like, oh, I'm not doing it anymore. But yeah, anyway, so a couple of days later, these two teeth here my incisors, for those listening on audio, were being pulled together so hard by the bands that they were hurting more than my jaw. So I'd wake up, try and get a pillowcase between it just for some cushioning. Well, that destabilized the brake, but that was a blessing in disguise again, because then that meant that when they x-rayed me again, they weren't happy with how the brake was sitting, so they then took me down for surgery, took the hooks out and put a plate and screws in, and that meant I had my mouth back. Because up to that point, all I had for 3 meals a day was herbal tea and really weak cup of soup, and I was getting very sick of it at that point. I'd lost a lot of weight, and I can't look at cup of soup anymore. But so yeah, by destabilizing the brake myself, I managed to get surgery and had a plate put in. First time I went down to go get surgery, they were supposed to come and get me, but I walked myself down there because I was still concussed and confused, in my gown, butt hanging out, walking around the hospital, stockings and a gown on, butt hanging out, trying to hold it together. When I saw people coming on, I'd like scoot along the wall, like trying to not let people see. Get to the surgery room and they're like all confused while I'm in there, ask me questions. They go, "Oh, you're concussed, we send you back." And then next day I went down there, and then when I got out, straight to the gift shop, got the thinnest bar of chocolate they sold and just put it on my tongue and just let it melt, and it was just the best. That was the best tasting thing I think probably ever had.
Chocolate, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, especially after 5 days of only herbal tea and super runny cup of soup. But yeah, so then
I must apologise to the audio viewers. There is something going on with the sound here. There's some form of background noise, and I have no idea where it's coming from. We're all still.
Oh yeah, there's a little bit of like windy noise, isn't there?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, if it's overruling on there,
it's Slogs. He's not talking, but his microphone thing keeps coming up. It's the cat.
It's the cat. Fuck the cat off, man, because we can't hear.
But yeah, so to finish up that like injury story there, so I'd Andy's favorite riding t-shirt for like that year was the green Ezo one. So I'd taken one with me because it was going to be his 18th birthday while I was away. And I was going to get everyone to sign it as an 18th birthday present for him. You know, I thought, I'll be sick, Andy would love it. Like Travis Pastrana, Street Bike Tommy, all the athletes that are there. Huh?
Slogs, is that cat still there?
No.
Oh, it still keeps flashing up green, and it's really annoying. I'm really.
Have you got a fan on or something?
No, it's your side, Dad.
Oh, it must be.
Well, if Slogs can't hear it and we can, it's definitely Slogs. But that's okay. That's what Slogs' rep is at this point. He's got a bad mic.
When Dan's square is green, that's the reason I'm liking it.
Ah.
Wow.
Well, anyway, I'll just carry on as if nothing's happened. So yeah, I get injured, and in my concussed state, I must have told Elle that I brought this t-shirt, but it got lost in translation, so I'll grab that too. Andy's birthday present ended up getting signed and everything, which was great for his 18th birthday, because I actually broke my jaw on his birthday as well. And it says, "You shred, bro. Get well soon, bro. Keep classy. Had a blast riding with you and hanging with you. Heal up so we can shred some more." And Andy was really confused by all these messages. It turns out they signed this t-shirt, his birthday present, for me and my injuries. Sorry, bro. In my confused, concussed state, I ruined it. But hey ho. But yeah, so I think I didn't blend any food, so I was really happy about that because I had my mouth, I could move it and stuff. I managed to like just slowly eat stuff. 4 weeks later was Christmas. I took like ages to eat Christmas dinner, but I was determined to eat it and not like blend it. And then almost 6 weeks to the day after I broke my jaw, I was in New Zealand with them again, doing 5 more shows across New Zealand. So I was really happy about that. And I think the really good thing as well is because I knew it wasn't my fault, the crash. It was just a freak accident. I had no hesitancy going back on it or getting on the ramp. Just went straight up the top, dropped. I didn't go straight up the top. I checked the airbag was soft, and then I went up to the top, dropped in and carried on as if nothing had happened. And yeah, I was paid to go to New Zealand for 3 weeks, hang out with an incredibly rad set of people, do 5 shows, and like do some crazy off days, like going caving down glowworm caves, jet boating and stuff. Like it was mad. So yeah, that was a good redemption as well. Like got back, got everything done again, and again every show got an honourable mention as well. So I managed to keep up my streak of that. So I was really chuffed and pumped. And then did the biggest show I've ever done and will ever do. Auckland, 21,000 people in the crowd. And New Zealand is when I started to enjoy it a bit more as well. Like I took it a bit less seriously because I'd got back. You know, this was the redemption almost. But yeah, I've got I put up a couple clips. I clip on Instagram and I think maybe on YouTube. Like I had the GoPro on the nose of the board and I do a 540 and it pans around and it is just insane. A sea of people. It was super cool. Yeah, really super cool. That takes us into 2013. An hour and a half into the podcast. Good job you got all those listeners' questions. I apologise.
I am going to apologise again for the sound slugs. Like I say, I've just tried muting you a couple of times, and it's your phone or whatever it is. That's better. No.
Fucking IT wizard, and I just smashed it. Hang on.
That's better. Let's go with that. Oh, I don't know.
It's where your audio is coming into Slogs' phone's microphone.
Right.
Is your phone next to something, Slogs? Like the speakers bouncing the sound back? Because it's coming from you, Slogs, but when we talk, so it's our audio is coming back through your phone, all gargled, I think.
Leave the room and come back. Not leave your bedroom. Leave the chat room and come back in.
We'll quickly do some bits while he's out, yeah, Dan. This way we talk some shit about him, yeah. Bloody slog it, Scorpion King. God. While he does that, it was no different when Ash was replacing him. As you'll see. Well, that's the obligatory, technical issues spot, isn't it? He hasn't left the room, by the way. He just turned his video off.
Once removed,
hello, sweet cheeks.
Will not be able to rejoin the meeting. Oh, don't want to do that. You need to leave it and come
Have
back.
You got some headphones you could plug in, Slugs? That'll fix it. Nah, okay. Soldier on then.
Any minute now.
So yeah, I'll quickly rattle through a few more things. Right. So yeah, that takes us into 2013. That's the first year of the World Border Cross Championships. That was a good race in the finals. Went out there, like I said, I wanted to because I've done nitro at that point as well. I wanted to show, oh yeah, I'm more than just a freestyle. I can race too. Managed to get second in that one. So in the finals, it was James Wanklin, Tom D, Cody Stewart, myself. Tom D and I came out of the gate, came together a little bit. Managed to get back ahead of him before the end of the rollers, but Cody was already gone. James was ahead, and then going down the rest of the track, just hunting James. Managed to take him on a chicane over the nipple, and then took second there. So I was really happy with that race. Managed to get second with an overtake at the World Champs there. That was good. And this is a couple of years now into mine and James's rivalry, really getting going. So it wasn't just the freestyle in 2012. We were racing super hard against each other too, and had some ridiculously then 2013, must have been summer 2013. I'd kind of faded off of the tour at this point for Nitro Circus. They had Brandon Good, not Brandon Good, he's a mountainboarder. Brandon Schmidt had come along in New Zealand. He was riding a roller snowboard, super similar to the mountainboard for anyone who looks at it, exact same tricks. But he rode BMX, he rode trike, and he just got on so well with everybody as well. I wasn't an outsider or anything, but he had that super energetic, I'll send anything. And just fit in way better with that. So there was no point having two of us, and I was the obvious choice to be kicked down the can.
You didn't go on the trike then or anything?
No, like I said, at that point, I was really focused on just getting my stuff dialed. And in New Zealand, I was trying to do 1080s. I was trying to do double backflip 180s to keep progressing. I was like, how often am I going to get to ride a jump this big? So yeah, I was trying to push that, and I didn't want to waste practice time doing trikes and stuff. I was like, I've got to keep getting more tricks dialed and getting better. But in the summer, I flew out to California with them to practice in the big foam pit before they took the foam away. Well, I say, so what they did is they built walls around the landing and then filled it full of foam. So you had the landing and then foam on top of it. So you'd land at the top, and it's like 4 to 6 feet deep. So you're landing like 4 to 6 foot higher than normal. And then you just tumble down the back into the back wall because it's all on a slope. But that's where I then managed to get the big three ticked off. So the double front flip, double backflip 1-footer. Audio sounds way better, Slogs, by the way. And the double backflip 1-footer was there. So for that, I knew that I was like teetering on the edge of the tour. I didn't think I'd be able to stay on, but I wanted to take that chance to do tricks that I knew that couldn't be done on the roller snowboard, or at least wouldn't be done at this point. Double front flip was being done, sure. But that was one that I was like, okay, double front flip's probably the easiest one that I'm going to go for. I want to go for a double cork 10, whether it's front side or backside. I don't think that's going to be done on roller snowboard soon. I was like, I've got to do some 1-footers because he's snowboard binding, so he physically can't do it. That gives me like a niche again. So went there with the plan to try backflip 1-footers and 360 1-footers. Got there, so double front flip, just went straight in and started doing those. They were working really nice. Double cork 10s, I tried front side, but it wasn't really working. So I started trying backside. First one came straight round to 9 and like wheels, double cork 9. I was like, oh, no way, but I want to do this to 10 so I can see it back in regular. Because at this point, I'm only hitting the 40 foot. So, you know, it's that extra big, it's a bit bigger as well. So you come into the airbag a bit faster. And then I started trying the 1-footed stuff. And then the 1-footed 3s were just as hard as doing the 3s. I was like, okay, I have to figure something else out. I'll try the backflip 1-footer first. First time I tried the backflip 1-footer, did 1.5. So from there I went, maybe I should just do a double. Like I hadn't planned to do a double backflip 1-footer at all going there. Just did 1.5 backflips with a 1-footer. I was like, okay, let's try this then. And that started to work quite well pretty quickly as well. So we had, I think it was 3 days into the pit. And then they took that away and we had 1 day on the landing. And yeah, it was another like, that was a good focus time as well. You know, when you get in the zone sometimes, it was less about, oh, I want to do a good job or whatever, but you know, you're in the zone, you're like, right, I'm going to get this. Like, here we go. I'm doing this. That was a really good like day for being in the zone. I think I went up, I did two warm-up runs. I did a straight air and a backflip to warm up just to see what the speed was like and like go, okay, yeah, there's no foam on here anymore. Then boom, straight into the double front flip, third run of the day, landed that first time, pumped, back up, tried a double cork, didn't quite get it, came in a bit under, tried again, didn't quite get it, came in a bit under, tried again, came in a bit over, bashed my nuts, which is super hard to do on a mountain board, but smacked my nuts really good. So I took a 5 minutes out, you know, I had to cough up a little bit. Once that had sorted itself out, went back up, watched the footage back after that as well when I took a break then. And that's when I was like, oh, I see what's going wrong. Went up and then nailed it on the 4th try. I was like, okay, I've got one last thing to tick off. Come on, I can do this. Go back up. I was starting to get a bit of a sore ankle at this point as well from some of the stacks. Tried the double backflip 1-footer. First try, I got it to 4 wheels, but I wasn't quite balanced enough so that when I did the transition from landing to flat, it just put me on the heels a little bit and I caught a little bit of an edge and slid out. So then I went back up, double backflip 1-footer, landed second try. So I was mad pumped again. Like that was insane. Just a sendy day. Like I think, yeah. So how many runs did I do the whole day? The whole day I did 2, 3, 7. I did 9 runs the whole day and landed 3 biggest tricks I'll ever do. Like it was insane. Absolutely insane. But yeah, I'll tell you one thing. Now I say it. The one thing I didn't realize going on to Nitro Circus is how actually physical it is. Because you do a run, you're at the other end of the stadium, you've got to run back across, run up the stairs, 67 of them, strap in, and you've got a couple of minutes maybe before your next run. So like that really took its toll. Like my hip flexors after those first 3 or 4 days of shows, it was almost a blessing that I got like broke my jaw because they were swollen as like running up those stairs was doing me in. It was crazy, but it's all part of it. Like then you kind of get used to it, and it's all good. But
it's not just like a couple of cranks on a
no
back.
Exactly. People complain about walking up a hill. Try running, you know, I don't know, 100 meters across a stadium, then up a 50-foot set of stairs, strapping in and going again. Like that's pretty tough, but it was all in the fun of it. Like you got so much adrenaline going at that point. You don't really feel it, but the next day you're like, oh, why do my legs are so sore? I didn't fall off yesterday. What's going on?
and Nitro after this tour or this session, they've not been knocking the doors to have you back after.
So I did do one more mini tour with them. So they came back to Europe again in 2013, and this was the last time I was with them. They did the UK leg, and they got me back on for the UK leg because I missed it the year before. I was really gutted as well because they performed at the Millennium Dome. So I did go to the Millennium Dome show, and I got to sit at like the super VIP on the floor section. But I was gutted because all my family had bought tickets to that show to go and see me. Well, I wasn't in it in the end. But and then I got to go backstage and stuff, of course. And then so my signature's on one of the T-shirts that's hanging backstage because they have anyone who performs there. They put up a T-shirt or a poster or something, and the performers sign it, and they still let me sign it even though I didn't perform there. So semi in the door. But yeah, so they came back, but I didn't. I had uni at this point, so this was the most insane week of my entire life. Without a doubt. So the numbers line up really nice. So it was 6 nights. I did 5 shows in 4 cities. I did 2 uni exams, and I drove 1,500 miles because I had to drive myself to and from them so I could go back to uni, do my uni exams, go to the shows, to the point where I think the second show at Earl's Court, I didn't do any practice before the show. I had to just turn up, go straight into the show and ride. And this was like this really was like the downswing for me as well. Like I had these new 3 massive tricks that was super difficult. I was like really getting super tired. I just wasn't being able to land very much at this point. I had more runs in the show than ever as well. So it's just a bit of a shame. And my board was breaking on me constantly where I was putting so much extra pressure through it with these massive tricks. Like I said, I was riding the 40 foot at this point. So I think at this point I was doing frontside 5, like I've got a picture of it. It's like I'm over a house going so big on it. It's mad. I don't think I could do it anymore. It's that mad. Frontside 5 in the first half of the show, and then the second half of the show, I'd have 4 runs. So I'd kick it off. I would go second in a double backflip, double front flip train, and I'd do a double front flip. So Chris Haffer would go in front of me with the rollerblades double backflip. I'd do double front flip, and there'd be like 6 to 10 people going behind me. So that's always carnage. You hit the bag, you're like, unstrap. Where do I go? Where do I go? They're coming. Run! Like, get out of the way. Get out of the way. Don't get wiped out. And then you run back across, and then you do your best trick stuff. So that's what I'd be doing. I'd normally send a 9. And then I would send a double backflip 1-footer. If I didn't land the double backflip 1-footer, I bent a truck every time. So then I'd have to use the double backflip, double front flip train must have been the first half of the show, and then the second half, best tricks. I'd do like 900 double back 1-footer, and then I'd have another run somewhere else. And then the last run I would do would be in the final train, and I'd be the last person to go off the 40-foot side before the people go off the 50-foot side, and that's when I'd be trying double 10s. But yeah, I just wasn't landing as much as I would have liked at that point. And like I say, craziest week of my life. I was so battered and bruised and broken and mentally drained after that. Like, 6 nights, 5 shows, 4 cities, 2 exams, 1,500 miles driven. And then a week later, there was quite a few people injured, so they called me in to go to the Netherlands and do another show over there. So I managed to squeak one more last show out of it. So I was really chuffed. But all in, like, I'm super happy with how I did. Like, I'm so pleased with the riding I managed to do. Like, I'm really pleased with the experience. Like I say, I think the first tour I would have liked to have been a bit more chill on myself, like, and just tried to enjoy it a little bit more. But it was madness, absolute madness. I think the only thing I'd like to tick off left from that whole, not that you asked, but the only thing I'd like to tick off left from that whole Nitro Circus saga is to go to Pastrana Land. I've still got some ins. I just need to, I think, start tugging on that, like start cashing in and get to Pastrana Land. And I always thought I'd like to go to Pastrana Land and get that triple flip done. But the older I've gotten, the more I've realized, like, and appreciate that that's just burly. And I did try it. So Mason was at that.
Hold up. If you're going in there, we were going to keep the questions.
I know, but we're coming up to 2 hours soon. We haven't got to one of them.
We were going to, but let's just put a pin in the trip for a minute. All right, we'll come back to that in the readers' wives. So you've now, let's just say that you've successfully leveled, completed Nitro Circus.
Completed it, mate.
And then from there, World Border Cross became a big thing. Every year it's the big trip. Managed to then get on a good streak of that. I think I got 4 in a row with the World Border Cross, and I like kind of ticked off that one that I manifested a few years before, saying I want to show that I'm a border cross racer too. Like I'm an overall rider. Like I've always tried to be an all-rounder. As much as you don't see me in the woods that often or free riding that much, like I do it, and it's in my skill set, I believe. Hence why me and Bieran had such great battles.
Proved that at Cleve.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not a woodland, but
yeah. I've got to have a shout out to Progetto Peniche as well in Italy. So I did a European downhill 2013. That was the best hill I've ever ridden. It was a mountain, like natural undulating slope, not a rock in sight. That was the most in the zone I've ever been as well. So that trip, if I won, I could afford to do it. If I didn't win, I couldn't afford to go, because Lee came with me and we had a little weekend in Milan afterwards, and we were broke at this point. And like, okay, if I win, we can afford this trip. If I don't, we're going to have to borrow some money from somewhere. Like that level. First, it's two tracks, and you've got 2 runs on each. First track, I didn't get the best run in. I had a bit of a mistake, and I ended up being like 0.5 of a second down on Sparta from Italy. And then second track, I was like, okay, first run and second track, stack it. I've written off completely. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Like the start of the second track was quite steep and really pointy across, and then it opened out into big sweeping, choose your line around the turns and stuff. And then I was like, right, I know what time he's got if he doesn't beat his time. I picked the song I was listening to get me hyped and keep me concentrated. And I saw, okay, I can't remember. It would have been something like Pushing the Senses by Feeder. Ever since that Fat Face Night Air video, that's been like one of my main hype songs. And I knew at what point in the song he would have finished. So I was like, okay, if I hear that come on, I know it's over. And then he dropped in for his second run, stacked it at the top. I was like, he's not getting a faster time. It's on. Here we go. And I drop in, and it was like the most like in the zone, serene, like coming right up to the edge but never going quite over it limit I've had. Like I could have done that faster, but when I got through the top section so well, I was like, okay, I can dial back a little bit here and just keep the run clean, but still was going pretty gung-ho. Anyway, so I got the second best time on that track, but fortunately I got fast enough time over Sparta that I took the combined win. So but that one's going to live in memory for me. Like that hill, like just the practice was joyous. Like there was this big roll down and then another roll, and it's like 30 foot, but you're just bombing so fast you could take off on the first one and just do a natural step down into the second one landing. Like it's a big shout out to them. That was a great event, and they treated us like kings and queens, and yeah, Italians rule. But yeah, so that's downhill for you. So I've got some skills there a little bit, which is nice. Hopefully I've got more skills for next year when it comes back. But yeah, so from there it was UK champs, trying to clean up as much as possible, world border cross, clean up as much as I could. And yeah, got involved not just with the ATBA running the comps, I got involved with running the IMA stuff as well. So my spreadsheet started going around the world, which was sick. And then yeah, bringing us to present day.
IMA, Matt?
Huh?
Still involved? I mean, we all know you're
yeah, I mean, it's so talking about, like, we'll do a brief segue into like arranging stuff. Like I would say the organizations survive with me there, but they don't thrive, if that makes sense. So like the ATBA, it needs more people there, like to fill niches. I know my strengths, and I feel like I'm really good at running an event, like doing the formats, the competition side of things. Like that's where I excel, and that's my entire contribution. I'm no good at promotion.
That's where no pun intended with the that's where I excel.
Yeah. Oh, look at you. Nice. Yeah. But we need other people there to push in all the other areas. Like it's just the way it is for me. It's not my bag. So we need people there for promotion. We need people there to do, standards and procedures and things like that.
I did notice there's an AGM happening, is there not, after champs?
Yeah.
Yeah, so people, if you are listening and want to help out within the scene, please go along. AGM.
Yeah. I've got a nomination for somebody, so I'll let them know in advance that I'm going to nominate them for a role that we've come up with, which will be good. But if anybody wants to help out, come along. And it's the same sort of thing with the IMA. It's a few people stretched super thin.
Yeah.
But we stick to the bare minimum, which is we try to put on a world championships every year in court. Like, it makes it sound like we do all the effort. almost all the effort comes from the people who are actually hosting it and have the centers. We turn up and go provide like structure for the event, and like, here's the spreadsheets, here's the timing system, here's a schedule to help you guys out, but they do all the big legwork. So straight away, massive shout out, a biggest shout out to all the people who have been hosting them in the past, like Boba in Serbia, Ludo in France, Luchka and Dejan in Slovenia, and then I think Phil was pretty bigly involved, but I'm forgetting the guy's name. I'm really sorry for the German worlds, but big up to all of them. Like, they don't happen without the people with the centers. We just turn up and make it look like we do a lot because we do all the talking to the riders.
You do a good job of that, Matt. And
yeah, I'd say I'm the GOAT.
competition.
I'd say I'm the GOAT, but at event organization, competition formats. But yeah, so there you go. So yeah, I think IMA, we're looking at probably having another election soon. So it hasn't been regular enough. We said we'd do elections a bit more regularly, but there will be an opportunity for either more people to join the team or a new team to come in the next year or so. We were looking at potentially Australia being the beginning of our farewell, and then having France as a handover year, but that's kind of gone by the wayside now with Australia being cancelled. So we'll see. Cody, Mika, and I'll have a chat. This is an unofficial, like, people start thinking about if you want to be in charge. But hopefully we get people in who've got the skill set, the time, and the energy to really push, like Diego used to back in the day, like Roger Swannell used to for the ATBA when I came in and as I started to take over. But yeah, fun stuff. It's still here. Like, that's the thing. I say survives. It makes it sound like depressing, but by survives, I mean, I run it in a bare bones. Like, we've always got that core. Like, the core's there. It's going to stay there, and it's going to keep being there, which is definitely not something to like be sad about. It's cool. It's great. We've got such a great core. Like, it's incredible.
And a great credit to you guys in both the ATBA and the IMA for keeping it going, for keeping us all having, albeit, okay, it's not a 5-round series anymore, but you know, there's still been consistently, if government has allowed, there has, or legislation has allowed, there has always been an ATBA comp every year, and
absolutely
we have with the IMA as well. So
yeah, exactly.
hats off to you for that.
I should shout out Mika as well at this point. He's the first lady, and he's the big driving force behind the IMA. And I've got to give a big shout out, of course, to Lee here, who does like just as much as I do on a ATBA weekend. She deals with the most important part. She deals with my mad stress behind the scenes that nobody sees, and takes it like a champion. I'm very lucky, and so is boarding, frankly.
What you guys been up to in your tent is up to you.
We got the dogs this year, so shame. Anyway,
but yeah, no, and you're right. You're right to credit Lee, because you know, she's always one of the faces that you will see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Competition in forms that weekend. So always working hard. So thank you, Lee. For
exactly. But yeah, timeline wise, massive. I want to reel off a few things from previous episodes as well. So there's a picture behind me of a sweet race. This is a semi-finals from one year that Bieran was talking about, where he was battling Joel for half the track. Right. That was a really good race to watch. As Bieran mentioned, I was watching it from the front. That was really sick. So Bieran's in fourth in that picture. He overtakes James on that next straight, and then proceeds to fight with Joel for the next a third of the track. It was insane, absolutely insane. But yeah, Bieran, if you want to know how I can do it, it's because I win as slow as possible by a philosophy. So that means I'm riding a little bit down. I get in front, and I know Serbia is really hard to overtake after the road. There's big long straight over the road where they used to be, then a couple of bits and a chicane and a nipple. After the nipple, you can't overtake. So I've charged to there. And then I just kind of like calm down because I know you can't overtake me, like unless I make a mistake. But yeah, so that was good. There was a really good race with James and Pete Tatham at Court Farm one year. We drop in. I go tight on so this is when the alternate start on the black run. Come round, a couple of rollers come round, we're neck and neck. drop left, drop right. I've got a bit of a lead, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to go tight in this first corner because I've seen Pete in the previous races. He goes really tight, so I'll go tight so he can't go on my inside. What does he do? He somehow goes tighter than I do on my inside. There's a really sick sequence of pictures. I then get pushed onto the grass, manage to out pump him on the rollers on the next step up, so I stay with him. I go tight and then wide on the next right-hander, so I slide up in front of him, and I'm like, right, this last left, I am going so tight, no one's going up my inside. Go as tight as I can. What happens? James goes, watch out, mate, I'm here, and he goes up my inside on the next left. How are you doing this? Why is everyone overtaking me up the inside? I'm doing my best here. And then all three of us finished within 3 wheels across the finish line. James, me, Pete. Ridiculously close. Came second in that one, and it's still one of the best races.
No, really, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Everybody stays up, and you all get to the bottom in one piece. That's
if you've had a jolly good time, you know, if it's a supercalifragilistic race, you're going to be pumped, regardless. Am I right? Like, come on.
I'm just wondering who have you got some form of like off-air bet with?
No, I've got it. You've done me. I've still got a few left to get through. I was going to reveal it in my shout-outs at the end. I did fail there though. We weren't getting to a subject where I was going to try and get you guys to say supercalifragilistic, but we didn't get to the point. I thought Will Fox told me to say welcome to the boat, a voyage into the life of Matt Brind. I thought that would really give it away, and he said he wanted it at the start, so I had to get it in as early as possible. I've got butt plug, which I said earlier. Egg sack, I said a couple times. I said bingo.
Yes.
I also said I'm the goat, but I didn't use it in the context everyone expected I would. So I was pretty happy with that.
Well done. And who have you been having this? So this is your box,
this is the French trip crew. Yeah, French trip crew. So we go into France for 10 days on Thursday night to go to LA and into the French champ. So it's Eamon, Ayla, Andy, Emlyn, and Will. Fox.
Will, that's your fucking question gone now for trying to fuck with a
So I brought 2 fun things to the podcast tonight. Yay, new traditions.
Who was the one that said the goat?
Andy told me to say I'm the goat. Surprise. Emlyn Bainbridge told me to say butt plug, which surprised me.
Yeah,
that surprised me as well.
Question now.
Eamon said supercalifragilistic. Ayla said bingo. But I mean, they're giving me all these suggestions. Who do they think I am? Horatio Nelson? I mean, come on. That's Andy for you. I was growing a bit of a tail, like worried about all of this. It's another Andy one for you. Lee didn't give me one in the end. She couldn't think of one. But yeah, there we go. I'm gutted. I've ruined it with the supercalifragilistic. I should have got you guys to say it. I was, and then you wouldn't have known.
When you got to the end, the boat, and I was like,
yeah, welcome to the boat.
Right.
Yeah, I've never even say that.
I can't get away with these, but yeah, well, it's almost more fun. I was going to do it in a shout out, say, shout out to the French trip crew for playing bingo with me tonight. But there we go. Where were we anyway? It's taken 2 hours.
2 hours. Surely
I blitzed through the last 5 years.
Questions, haven't we?
Yeah, please, let's go. I'm getting hot and sweaty now.
Yeah, we've basically, if we've missed anything, Matt's won everything.
Not yet. Well, downhill next year.
Apart from when he wasn't there through lung infections or
kidney infection. I went for the 10 Pete. Went for the 10 Pete. Got a kidney coming into the UK champs 1 year. I've done 9 in a row overall titles for the pro category. God, my Essex has come out there. Sorry, everyone. Pro category. And Wednesday comes around. I'm like get super ill in bed. Thursday super ill. Go to the doctors. Kidney infection. Just driving to Hart Hill that year, I got there and just had to go to bed. Couldn't set up anything. So then it was a mad setup Saturday morning to get everything ready. Tried to race. My head wasn't there. Robbie Kinsey beat me in a race and knocked me out like in the semi-finals. So I haven't heard the end of it since then. Tried to do the downhill because I came 5th in the border cross. So it was still salvageable to get the overall if I could win the downhill. And up to this point, I'd won the downhill overall every year as well since it started in 2013. But it'd been wet and we went on to the slalom. We were going to do slalom and the bike downhill trail. And I knew that there was a little cheeky bit in the rules. And I thought, I did my first run. I was miles off, and I had to lay down for 10 minutes to get my energy back to walk back up the hill. Like I was struggling bad. But I knew that there was a little cheeky way I could get away with it because the start was so slow. You have to wear heel straps or a leash. But the board can't get away from you. So I knew I could ride with just one heel strap on and skate push at the start to get loads of speed at the beginning and do people in. I test ran it once on my penultimate run, but I felt too guilty to do it properly. I was like, no, I want to win it the right way, not with like a gray area. So I ended up coming third, I think. So I was pretty pumped to still get third. But from there, I couldn't win the overall, so I didn't do the freestyle because I would have just hurt myself super bad with the energy levels I had. But I'm going to claim credit because that rut, so the freestyle, I was then on the judging panel and I was the head judge, and we averaged one run every 35 seconds, which is unheard of. I think we had an hour-long jam or something, an hour and a half jam, and we had so many runs, most ever. It was insane. So I was really happy with how well the freestyle ran, even if I couldn't be part of it. And it was really cool to like cheer everybody else on and see it from a different side for a change. So that was cool. But yeah, there you go. Tried to get 10 on that. It didn't. Haven't got the world downhill title yet. Hasn't been here since 2012. It's coming back next year. I'm excited for that. So that's my big goal next year. Talking about manifesting things. Here we go. Let's manifest a win there. I'd love to win that. I hope Pete Tatham's there. I want to do it the right way. I want to be schooled or I want to win it. You know,
still considering it's the first time out on a board at Cleve there, he still looked like
he's got it, yeah,
got some pace.
Absolutely.
Has he ever?
Absolutely. Like, no, without a doubt. But yeah, and then it's been a mad journey. Everything and more has been ticked off the list. I think, yeah, bucket list stuff, like everything and more got ticked. It was insane. You know, back in the day, oh yeah, it'd be good to like, I don't know, get on a team. It'd be good to win a competition. Maybe one day I could be world champion. Ha ha ha! How funny would that be? Mad. Here we are.
Matt, how old are you now?
31.
It's not a bad fucking history.
I've been going 17 years. So yeah, been going a good long time. But of mad bucket list, super ridiculous dream stuff. It was like, have a center, but I feel like that's kind of ticked having the jump. Like we've got our own spot. Get a pro model and win the world downhill champs. But that world downhill champs one wasn't like the 14-year-old daydreams. That was a like, I don't know, like 2010 to 2012 sort of things where it started to come in. Like I realized, okay, I'm getting pretty damn good at this now. Like I'd be really cool to be the first one to win all 3 world titles. There we go. I'm talking without any questions again. Let's go. Readers' wives. I dominate conversation. This is why the Brind Bros podcast failed after one episode.
The only reason I've let you get away with it is because I was just trying to do you the justice of being the one to run through your list of results as such. But I reckon I'm really struggling to find it. I'm having to.
Oh, I sent you the notes. So the reason why I've got a list on my phone.
That you would probably know them all off the top of your head.
I know the headline figures, but so a bit of background. I've got a list on my phone of my titles. Really lame, I know, but it's because Pete Tatham asked me one year when he came back. It was 2017. He came back to Court Farm for the UK Champs that year, and he asked me how many individual titles I had in the UK to compare it to his number. So I was like, oh, I don't know. So then I went and figured it out, and then I've just kind of kept it a little bit up to date since then.
So give us.
It's your front page of the screen, is it?
As we're 2 hours in,
yeah.
Give us that rundown, and then we'll go on to the readers.
Okay. So, sorry, everyone, for the not so humble brag coming up. So overall titles, I've now got 10 for the UK. UK overall titles, I've got 10. I've got 7 border cross titles, 7 downhill, 8 freestyle, so 32 in total. World titles, I've got 3 overall, 5 border cross, and 3 in freestyle, so 11 total. And then I've got 1 European freestyle title and 1 European downhill. But yeah,
it's pretty much like. I'm just imagining the Lakers trophy room.
Well, unfortunately, I've only got 1 trophy here at the moment. The rest are up at the jump in some boxes because we haven't figured out exactly where they're going to go yet. But we had a chat about it earlier, Lee and I. We think we've got like we got 3 floors here. So going up to the top floor, which is only our bedroom.
We've only got 3 floors to fill with trophies.
I didn't mean only 3 floors. Yeah, my wording's wrong there. We've got 3 floors here. Going up to the final set of stairs is our bedroom. So on the wall there, we've got all our peace signs, and so we stole a couple of peace signs from our snowboard seasons. And then when we've been on holiday, we bought the little souvenir ones, so they're all up there, nice. But I think going up the stairs, on the other wall that's there, we might put some shelves up and some like pegs for me to hang medals and trophies on. This is the only one I got. It's one of my favorites for sure, because it's the first one I won. And it's just a really cool, unique one. It's the one from the World Freestyle Championships in Moscow. So it's is it St. Christopher's, but the cathedral at the Kremlin is cut out in glass for those who can't see it, and it's on audio only, with a Moscow up the side, and like Leon Robbins doing a palm air like shaded in. It's really cool. I love it. So this is the one I got here at the moment, just to remember.
It is a good quality. I'm quite, although I'm absolutely distraught and gutted that there's not an EBIT trophy there.
Well, you know, if you actually tried hard for a change, you might win something. Well, you won't win something, but you might make a podium with a bit of luck.
I'm talking about your bloody EBIT trophies.
Oh, me? Yeah, nah.
Well,
My
why are
board is
they
rubbish,
not there
mate.
displayed?
This is why I don't like EBIT, because it's all about your kit and not about your skills. Frankly, I had Duff battery cells, so Eamon had an easy time. Don't worry.
You're blocking out the podiums.
I didn't make it on the border cross podium. My wand didn't work at the start of the race, which we all had at one time or another. So I just got left behind.
When we racing Sunny Dibbon.
Yeah.
I had a wand issue.
Yeah.
That's the only reason Andy beat me in that border cross.
Exactly. Savage. He beat me in mine because I had a wand issue. I reckon he was doing something because he's got the Maytech remote. So
yeah.
Has that got a blocker on it?
He's probably done something, hasn't he? He works with electronics a little bit. So he put some stairlift thing on his. He's put a stairlift thing in his battery box that like.
It's well known that stairlift and wand technology are very.
Yeah, exactly. But now this year it's going to be different. I got 63 100 motors now, so the biggest, powerfulest things I could get from Stu. I just picked up some of those Apex jump drives to see how they get on. So they're nice and light as well on my Hero deck that's on my Eve now as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's a good ride. But, enough about electrics. Readers' wives, you said for the last half an hour. These are going to be quick fire. This is going to be an 11 set leading into the 10.
Because I've got to locate them from a load of different sources.
I thought you'd be prepared.
I'm prepared, you fuck nugget.
You got any more bingos you want to throw in while we're waiting?
I've only got 2. So I'm going to try and slide them in a bit more subtly to see if I can, still get a little bit of a win there.
I'll see if I can notice them now that we know what we're up against.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the first one comes in here from Reese Crilly. Now,
hello.
Reese Crilly, he notoriously sends me a message about 20 minutes after we record every week saying, have I missed it?
So this is why you did it a week in advance this time, right? I saw his parents at the weekend. They're doing well. Paul and Debbie, good to see them. That's great.
You have a nice cup of tea with them from their car?
Yeah, absolutely. They said that Reese is off somewhere fancy, hot island somewhere, Lanzarote or something, winning darts tournaments in pubs right now.
I did see that,
yeah. So there we go. Nice.
Now, I've got to say, this question here is strikingly similar to Robbie Kinsey's question.
Oh, God.
Right.
Robbie's going to say something about being better than me in border cross. So what does that mean Reese is going to say?
Well, you have immediately doubted Robbie Kinsey's character there.
No, because every time I see him, anytime there's a message between us on Instagram, he always brings up the fact that he's better than me at border cross.
Don't worry.
Because, he's beaten me twice and I've only beaten him once.
Somebody else has done that tonight. So we'll leave. Robbie as actually, I mean, to be fair, he is pretty to the point with it. So we'll go with Reese's version of it because it beats around.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I keep derailing us. I'm going to be quiet until you tell me to talk.
Mute him, Dan.
Do you know what's going to happen? We're going to get to Champs Weekend and I'm just going to fucking sit there the entire time. What's my time, Matt? Yeah, the problem is I'm like 3/4 of a bottle of Lucozade in, even though it's now 10 p.m. And Lucozade gets me mad hyped. So that's where the verbal diarrhea comes out. I apologize. Derailed you again. Reese's question. as one of the greatest mountain boarders of all time,
All right.
are you angry / disappointed that you've not had your own pro model? If the BFC ever make boards, we'll hook you up with one. And Robbie's version of the question is, when's the pro model coming?
Classic. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me from Robbie, actually. That's in character. I'm not disappointed. I can see the reasons why it hasn't happened. Like, I was a little gutted when the MBS went with the Dylan, but I know why they went with it, and I understand it, and I understood it then. Like, Dylan has the reach. He had the Instagram, like, he was posting regularly. He had his YouTube going on really good then. Like, he's reaching out to all kinds of things, getting into everywhere. Like, it made sense. Like, it's not all about competition results at the end of the day. And in the age of social media and stuff, you've got to be on that game. And it's just not something I've been on at all. So it completely made sense to go with Dylan. You know, he was building the scene in Australia and stuff. So that's fair enough. And then after I left MBS, there's been no opportunity. Tramper don't do pro models. So when I was with Tramper, there was no opportunity to get one there. Now I'm a bit of a free agent. I mean, Phil has hooked me up with a free hero, which massive thanks to Phil for that. Huge shout out. But they've got David, who's another big up and comer, really strong on the social. He's not an up and comer. What am I talking about? David's established, but he's like going from strength to strength, is what I mean.
Yeah.
David.
I mean, he did when the season leading up to that pro model release, I got to say, he put down some bangers.
Absolutely. Yeah. Completely. Yeah, David Jansa is a killer. Yeah, he crushes it. Sorry, I'm not laughing at David. It's Dan struggles with the pronunciation of the surname, so I gave a little tipple there. Unless I butchered it myself, but I'm hoping I'm remembering it correctly. But yeah, no. So it's kind of like, you know, I feel like we went through the golden age of mountain boarding with Tom and the ATC crew putting out content. Then it kind of we had a couple of other like crews come around to make some videos then, Daydream, a little bit of Project Doc still, but that was starting to fade out then as well. But there was no like, so it went from Tom to kind of like just almost kind of competition scene for a little while. And then Dylan came along and started bringing the videos back with that. So like, I would say my face was maybe only really in the UK probably, but my face was kind of that stopgap. But the face of mountain boarding has been, since Tom Kirkman, and including Tom Kirkman, it's been who's been in everyone's face with the HB mag, with the videos. So it was like Tom, kind of nothing, Dylan, now David, I feel like taking up that mantle.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, working on that logic there, we're putting out weekly podcasts.
Yeah, you guys are like coming way up for.
We could fucking get our own.
Yeah, yeah. If only people listen to this.
BFC do a
you'd
pro
be way
model.
up there.
Maybe they'll let us have one as well.
The BFC definitely would. Yeah, BFC definitely would.
Can you imagine?
Be sick. But yeah, so there you go. Like, I'd love to get one. Like I said, it's like my 14-year-old's dream. Like the last thing that's on that 14-year-old list would be a pro model. But I understand why it hasn't happened. I'm not too fussed, to be honest. Like at this point, it's not a big deal to me. I used to care a lot more when I was a lot younger and a lot more competitive. But at this point, it's cool. I think the right people have been getting them at the right times so far.
Yeah, I think.
And it makes sense the reason why you didn't get one.
Yeah, exactly.
And you've got it sorted in your head.
Yeah, I'm a competition rider. I get that, and I've always been
hold
weak
on. I don't
on the
think
video
it
side.
doesn't make sense why Matt didn't get one. It just makes sense why the others did.
Yeah.
You can put it like that if you like. That works.
If you want to be nice to him, yeah.
Remember, this is a big loving. Remember,
it does make sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like you can't argue against it. Like, so there you go. So yeah, Robbie, the pro model's coming out, mate. When you finally come out of retirement and actually race me properly, whoever wins gets a pro model. There you go. I'll tell you what, Robbie. I'll speak to Phil. I'll speak to Phil. No, I'm going to speak to Phil. See how much it costs to get a custom graphic done on a one run. Whoever wins, Robbie, if you win, I'll get you a pro model from Hero. That's the deal. If you come out of retirement, race me properly when we're both fit and healthy, for one time, settle the debate, settle the argument. If you win, I'll pay Phil to print you if he can, print you a pro model Hero for yourself. There you go.
There we go.
Settle this beef once and for all, because he likes to have jabs, and then he gets drunk and then he admits that he's not going to race again because he doesn't want to lose to me because he knows he would.
I wonder what the minimum run is for.
I don't know. If you get a prototype done, it'll be expensive for a one-run board, but doing prototyping sort of thing, you can put in different graphics, I'm sure. But yeah, there you go. There you go. It's been a good beef between me and Robbie, but I'm ready to put it to bed and I'll put money where my mouth is. Next question.
Next, Reese did also have a second question.
Oh, this is these people having multiple bites at the cherry, right?
No, but I'm also going to tie that one in with Will Fox's question, because there are
about construction.
They're a little bit no, they are not, but they're not about construction. And Will Fox has asked, what is the best mountain board party and that you've ever been to? No, in fact, he worded it as I'm doing it just from my notes there, as opposed to what he's actually written. And he said, as the notorious big drinker he is, I would like to ask Matt Brind, which is the best mountain board party he's ever been to?
Hellraiser.
And Reese there has put a very similar question as to your best experience. So I suppose that maybe it could be talking on or off board.
Yeah, there's a lot of levels to Reese's one.
That's very open, isn't it?
Yeah. So best party, I've got to give a shout out to Mountainboard Bracer crew. So Valtrompia Park, that was always a good party after that. But I think the one that Will's probably thinking of is probably the one I would say. So after a few years ago, we went to the Narano Riders track, I think it is, and LA afterwards. And after the first one, there was a big border cross in the woods. It was awesome. I barely drunk anything, but I stayed up until like 5 a.m. or something because I wasn't organizing anything. I had a great time, but I got dragged up by a lady to do a traditional dance as part of all the crew. So did Nikki G and Cody. We all got dragged up. So Eamon, Will and Emlyn are sitting there filming me on their phones doing this weird traditional, well, it's not weird dance, but doing a traditional dance. Just they can't believe their luck that I'm dancing around. That was probably the best one. I was just hyped the whole night and I didn't feel like sleeping. I just had a great time. But Serbia's had some really good parties too. But yeah, I think Valtrompia Park.
Crusade at 10 o'clock at night, lasting until 5.
Yeah. It's a good job I got to get up early in the morning. But there you go. That's that one. Best experience. Competitive experience. It's got to be that downhill event I already spoke about. That was the most in the zone I've ever been. And I haven't actually competed since 2019 on my mountain board because of COVID and not being able to go to last year's comp. I miss being in the zone, frankly. And that was the most in the zone I've ever been. So I'll go with that. It's hard to think of other experiences as a whole that have been better. I mean, Serbia, the first couple of years, especially, like, it was all super new and fresh. No, I'll go with Serbia the first year, actually. So fresh and new. World Border Cross Championships, mad hype around it. We're all staying at this really cool place with a pool and jumping off roofs and stuff. That was a super good experience. Don't get me wrong. Serbia's been great every time, but like, you can't beat the first sometimes, you know.
That did look absolute carnage in the best way from the photo.
Yeah, and like just the podium celebration and stuff. Like, you know, I came second, and it was like super pumped to be second, and like spraying stuff all over the place. And Serbia just comes through with the biggest, most outrageous trophies. It's insane. But I guess I've got to shout out to the second year as well when I managed to win it. I was so happy as well with that. Like, getting onto the top step for the border cross. I feel like border cross is arguably a harder game than freestyle for winning, because there's more than, like, with freestyle there's judges involved, sure, but you're doing the runs on your own, whereas the border cross there is a bit of luck. That you could get wiped out, you know, you could have a blowout on a tire, you know. So that was a good year. 2014 Serbia as well was a really good one. Yeah, chugged some champagne from the trophy on the podium. That was good.
Now I've got three questions here that I'm going to go to next, mainly because I can't remember what's in them. So if we suddenly watch and say they're all videos, if we watch them, I might go to you afterwards. That's also very similar to whoever's.
Yeah, no worries.
The first one we are going to go with here, another tour here, comes from, I do know what one of these is about, actually. And I said that it was when you were talking about being beaten by Robbie Kinsey. And I said to you that it wasn't the only person to have beaten you. But is that this question?
Loads of people have beaten me. Just, it's when it really matters that they struggle.
There we go.
Good evening, chaps.
Nice.
I would like to ask a question, mostly to the mountain board community, but also I want to know from you two boys and from Matthew Brind, aka Brindy Ballsack, who has the sweetest sweet case? Thank you.
That's a tough one. I think Raffle Rush stands out straight away as the first name to mention there, so I'm going to go with that. That's the first one. When he said sweet case, I just straight away imagined Raff doing it at Hales back in the day.
Yeah,
with a sweet case. So I'm going to have to go with Raffle Rush. Yeah, Clive always had a good sweet case, especially when he'd struggle to let go of it and land on his knees. He always seemed to land on his knees. Not with the sweet case. Yeah, not with the sweet case necessarily, but he was he was a sender, to be fair.
I would have to go for my one as Andy Ramsey then as the other.
Yeah, that's a fair shout. Same crew. Andre had some good methods.
Yes, Andre did obviously. Perfect. Let's go straight on to the next one. Miles here.
Also, Matt, I wanted to know if, I don't know whether you remember this, but at Haredown, we had a race where we swapped boards. You were on my Novo, you were on, I was on your MBS. I think it was a Leon. I'm not entirely sure. But I do very specifically remember that I absolutely thrashed you. Do you think that makes you just shitter than me on a no snow, or am I better than you on an MBS?
Former, not the latter. Cheers, Miles. Next question. Definitely shit on a no snow. Tell you who's good on a no snow is Ollie Morrison.
Look, he's even given us video footage.
Yeah, that's the exact image I had in my head. What a year! What a year! Yeah, nice. That's the year I first won. The overall title. I remember that. We couldn't race board across because it was too wet, so we did a time trial down that track. Right, that was cool. And we swapped boards and stuff. It was sick. It was eye opening. I had no idea that a no snow rode like that until I got on.
Have you ridden one since?
A little bit, but not loads. Andy's got my Apex Airs, so I don't get to test out the miniaturized no snow trucks.
Got ya. Let's have a look at this.
Might need them for the World Downhill next year though, so might steal them back this winter. Get practicing.
I am going to go with this one. This one comes in from Emlyn.
Hi, Paul. Hi, Dan. Got a couple of questions for Matt for the podcast.
Nice.
First of all, Matt, what's your favourite Bombay Bicycle Club song? And do you have any mountain board memories associated with that song? Second up, what's the baniest thing you've ever done as a person who coined the phrase? Cheers, guys. See you soon.
Yeah. Nice. Cheers,
Before
babes.
you answer there, I did get a second message there with an explicit apology to Dave Vimto for him not wearing his helmet in that.
Yes. Nice. Oh, yeah. Dave Vimto be all over that. Goodness me. But yeah, so Baines is the baniest Baner of the Baines. So that's where that second question comes from. He's the baniest Baner of the Bainbridges. So first question was, what's my favorite Bombay Bicycle Club song and have I got any memories? I really like Shuffle. I like the piano in it, but some of the new songs still really hit good as well. But if I had to pick one, the song I have the most memories is a song called What If by Bombay Bicycle Club. That was a song I used every time for Nitro Circus. It got me the right. So I use music when I'm mountain boarding. One, to help me concentrate. Two, to kind of help control my energy levels a little bit. Ever since I heard Steve Birkbeck commentating while I was dropping into the Swanbuck freestyle one year. So I was coming in, little divergence here. Coming in switch, going to try my first ever switch rodeo. As I'm about to take off, what does Steve say on the mic? Jesus Christ, Brindy, how big are your feet? Are you a clown or something? Burst out laughing, do a half a flip and collapse on the landing. I was okay and I was laughing, but I had size 11 feet and I was a scrawny little kid then, so they didn't really fit. So since then I started riding with music, so I didn't hear people. And then as I used the music a bit more, I was like, okay, now I'll use it to, help the mind a little bit. And I don't ride with it so loud that I can't hear people racing behind me. I like to hear what's going on around now. But yeah, so What If is the one I have the most memories with, but I'd have to say probably Shuffle. Otherwise, one of the more recent songs, I Can Hardly Sleep is actually one of my favorites as well. But there you go. And then the baniest thing I've ever done, I did something really bainy the other day, and I thought, yeah, Baines would be well happy with this, and it slipped my mind. But I don't get bainy very often. It's really hard. It's incredibly hard to emulate AJ Lawson's favorite rider. So it's too big a mantle to live up to. But I did something jibtastic, and I was like, yeah, that was pretty bainy. But I'm sorry I can't give you a solid answer, Emlyn. We'll have 10 days together, and I'll get as bainy as I can for about 20 minutes, and we'll see what comes out while we're in France.
I can't wait to see what comes back off that footage.
So I'll do a quick shout out now. Hero has sponsored our trip. So Hero are going to have an edit done by Eamon at the end of it that they're going to have on their YouTube page channel panel. There you go. So yeah, huge shout out to Phil and Hero Boards for sponsoring our trip out there, and I can't wait to see what Eamon gets out of it as well. It's going to be epic.
Look forward to that.
Yeah, so everyone's got something to look forward to from our side of that as well. It's going to be epic. Absolutely ace.
2 quickies here. Snipes FPV.
Oh yeah, nice.
Johnny Snipes.
Speaking of AJ.
Yeah, speaking of AJ, when you're coming out to Colorado, little emoji of a helicopter.
Absolute bucket list destination. I keep wondering about it, and more spots are popping up, so it's getting more and more viable. I think I've got to do it soon before marriage and kids get in the way, so yeah, next couple of years I reckon. Definitely, I think I can probably wangle out a 2-week trip in the summer now that we've got less comps and all that stuff. Maybe early summer would be best as well. Go and hit up Moab, and then go and hit up loads of those bike spots with the boys. I think it'd be absolutely sick. It's a pilgrimage. It's an absolute pilgrimage, isn't it? You've got to do it. And I think it's not just a pilgrimage to Moab anymore. It's a pilgrimage to hit some of those spots around Denver.
Yeah.
And if Cody's in the area as well, then tap up Cody to go see the Rampage Zone out in Utah and see some of the lines he's been scouting out there, like big mountain stuff. That'd be cool too.
Definitely.
Yeah, thanks for the invite, Snipes. I'd love to hook up and come ride with you boys, get some shots. I need some tips from AJ. I don't know how his knees work so well. Like, he just goes along. And
have you not seen his crails? They're just straight.
Exactly. Yeah, but it's like he goes along and then suddenly he's in the air, but he hasn't done anything to get in the air. He's just in the air and doing tweaks and stuff. Like the most fluid effortlessness of all time. Like, damn, son. Damn. It's tasty.
And I'm going to apologise because I'm going to murder this pronunciation here.
There's a name. Name you can't pronounce.
I don't even know how you can fit this many letters.
Come on, Dan Watson. Let's get it done.
Goncalabello Lorenco.
Cool.
Goncalabello Lorenco. I think I've done all right there.
That sounds all right, Dan. That sounds like a real word.
I'm going to reserve judgment until I look it up.
Goncala.
Yeah, all right. Fair play. Nailed it. I should have read the question while you were there. I've had more time to think.
But for those listening on audio only,
for those who've made it 2.5 hours in,
yeah, for those who've made it 2.5 hours, I'm riding my old Comp 16, my precious, until it falls apart. But what has been your favourite setup?
Oh, that's a tough one.
And while we're here, what are you currently riding?
I'm riding Hero David Jansa Pro with MBS F5 bindings and heel straps. Best bindings of all time, in my opinion. Ridiculous comfy. I got Tramper trucks with barrels on at the moment. And then I got MBS Rockstar 2s with mud pluggers / vines / shit slinger, depending who you buy them from. All the same, basic. It was a GI tread originally. And then, yeah, now everyone's making it.
Running the dope grip on that?
Yeah, dope grip as well, of course. Yeah. Got dope grip on there, so it's super cozy. Cheers, boy. Thanks. This is why I don't have any. This is why I've barely got any sponsors left. So my favorite setup. I'm well into what I've got now. I really liked back in the day when I was like running around on slicks on everything. You used to get some really good driftage going on. I'm going to start getting the slicks back out a bit more for grass as well. I was doing little B on slicks as well at one point, and that was sick too. Just like that like easy to slide but predictable. Was really fun to just see how loose you could get at times. But I really love my collab as well. I've got to say, I think if I could have a blend between the Hero and the collab, I think that would be absolutely perfect. I think where I run my trucks on the outside setting on the Hero, it makes it a bit lower slung than for those who run it on the inside truck setting. But I like the wheelbase length for the stability and stuff. So if I could have a higher ride height on my Hero, it would be without a doubt my absolute favorite. But I do have a very big place in my heart for the collab because that saw me through pretty much all my board across titles and loads of years. And it's just a great board to ride and have under your feet. But yeah, then the Hero's like super techy, like really great too, lightweight. It's hard. My collab setup and my Hero setup that I've got now, those are my two favorites for sure.
Fair enough. Next one then. We are coming in straight in hot with a video from Nige.
Hey Matt, Nige here.
Nice.
Now that you've got the double so dialed and the switch dub as well, and we've heard Mason talking about revisiting that triple attempt, have you got any ambitions to beat him to it?
I used to. I think Mason and I used to be pretty competitive with the doubles and stuff, which was cool. Pushed us both on for sure. So I did try some on that Nitro foam pit session that I alluded to earlier. Mason was there for it too, and he got a few bits into the foam pit practice too. But I think I tried like 5 to 10 of them, and less than half were coming round for me. I don't want to make excuses, so I'll just say I wasn't ballsy enough to commit to it, and that's why it is the absolute most ballsiest thing. And when Nitro kind of faded away, I did harbour a dream for many years of let's get to Pastrana's house, let's get to Pastrana Land and get it done there. He has the setup to just get it banged out on, like, you know, the amount of airbags and stuff, resi and things, you can get it set up and done. But at this point, I'm kind of over it. I don't think it's not one for me. We'll see. If I do go to Pastrana Land, I've got the juice. You've got the juice, you know. When you got the goose, you're gonna go send. But
when it's there in front of you, ready for taking.
But I think if I do go to Pastrana Land, I'd probably pursue something else. Just because it is so ballsy, so commitment. It's insane. So again, I said it on that video. I was very gushing on my video question for Mason last time, but I'll say it again. That is by far the gnarliest send all time on a mountain board, and I don't know if it's for me.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm not committed to anything though. Unless I go somewhere with a massive ramp, it's not happening. Our jump is nowhere near big enough. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But cheers, nice. Cheers, Nige. You are riding sweet at the moment, by the way, son.
He's looking
absolutely
really
crushing it right
strong
now. Can't wait to see what you can get down at Bugs, like with our little session going on down there. Whether it's comp or not, don't care. I just look forward to session with
man, Nige, whatever you're eating, whatever you're putting inside your tyres at the moment, mate, keep it up.
Absolutely crushing it.
Who else we got here? Let's go straight in again then. This time from one of your nemesis. Nemesis?
Go on then. Come on, James.
What's up, guys? How we doing? Glad to see you finally took pity on Matt and let him join the party. A couple of questions for Mr. Brind. Number one, when can we expect to see a 270 out of a board slide from you? I know you got it in you. We believe in you. And secondly, let's say you get given a piece of land, roughly the length of Bugs, and a limited budget to build whatever you want. What's your dream freestyle setup? What's it include? Talk us through it. Tally ho, peace.
Good questions. Good questions. First, I posted a video last year of me landing a 270 out of a board slide just to, you know, shut James up. He knows. So back history here. I've been trying it for years, like genuinely trying to put 270 out of a board slide for I don't know how long now. And I always land ironic. For those who are new to the sport, ironic's where you land 90. You know, self-explanatory there. I always land ironic. Doesn't matter how big the drop out of the rail is, I always land ironic. But I kind of figured it out tail end of last year a little bit. It's still a bit pivoty, like the last 45. I'd get the tail down and pivot in, but I landed a couple. Haven't landed it doing a front side. Essentially would be a front side 360 the whole way around. Done it backside. The hard way's front side. But James is a massive dick because at the last World Freestyle Championships, we had a rail session, then a jump session, and you combined your scores. Super cool, like format, super cool setup at David's place in Poland. And going into the last runs, I was sitting in second. I was pretty happy. I was like, yeah, cool. I'd had a stack the day before and I'd actually done some ligaments in my back and had a nice lump there. So I wasn't pushing too hard. I was like, okay, I'm in second. I'm only a few points down. This is good damage limitation. Last run's coming. What does James do? He goes in, just decides out of nowhere he's going to try switch board slide to 270 out, greases it. Just takes it, just shits on my face. And I'm standing right there. He just pulled his trousers down and just laid a Cleveland steamer right on my, like on the bridge of my nose. Disgusting it was. And then, yeah, after that, I was dropped down to 6th and 12 points off the lead or something. Everyone just went mad on the last run, and I went down into like the bottom half of the field. So there we go. Good on him for getting it done. But as we all know, James is a weirdo. He just does better in switch than regular half the time. He skates goofy and rides regular on a mountain board. Like,
I don't know what's up with that.
It's weird, isn't it? It's odd.
So weird. And then he had another question in there. Oh no, that was both of them, wasn't it? Yeah. So I landed the 270. No, Dream Park.
Dream Park.
Man, when I was a kid, I drew out the XBP field and drew my own track on it, and I put a roller berm in. So I definitely have a roller berm going toe side and hillside.
Nice.
In terms of freestyle though, I'd probably go across the hill more and put berms and hips in to like traverse back, so you don't have too much of the fall line. Like, the hard part about our sport is having gravity, and when you've got too much hill, it's really hard to get the jumps kind of right and flowy, without having to scrub too much and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'd like to have a good mix of things like and options. I kind of like to mix up like the order of things. It's always a quarter pipe at the end. I'm kind of like, how cool would it be to drop in straight into a quarter pipe, and you come back, and either side is like a mini quarter pipe / a bonk spine, and you come back down from there into the rest of the hill. Yeah. So like quarter first would be just kind of an interesting mix up, and then
I mean, I suppose LA's got the little setup where you can go to the big
so like
then back to
exactly that. Yeah, that's kind of like what I had in my head for like would be cool. So you drop in, you'd hit that quarter pipe first, it'd be big, and you come back up onto a little quarter pipe or just like kind of like a bonk spine sort of thing, stooler, and then you come back in and then like into like around a berm or something, and they've got like a selection of boxes, like a rainbow box, flat box, flat down, or something like that. And then, yeah, just a good selection of jumps, different sizes, different shapes, and then every now and again you'd be a berm to come back around, or you could do like a hip straight into another hip. Like I'd try to have it like flowy, and I'd definitely build a free cross track.
Yeah, I was going to say, you kind of for the sort of setup that you're requiring, you almost need that very shallow hill. Look, kind of like OTG had. Yeah,
OTG's freestyle worked pretty well. Like, I'd like to get a bit bigger than OTG, certainly by the end of the run, if it's my dream one. But I think it'd be cool to have like options out as well. So like you option to like hip into the big line then, or you carry on and it stays fairly tame and that sort of thing. But it's hard to put loads of things down to paper. But like we were discussing at the weekend, Bugs started building a new drop-off feature. We've had an idea where to put it now, and it should be really cool for the UK champs. Maybe like a little step on, and then it's like raised up, so it's like a little bit of a cannon drop off, and you've come off the end onto a landing. That'd be cool to have in it as well. Like,
just obviously, I've not been to Bugs for a wee while, and there was that section of the quarter pipe that was potentially going to become the whale tail of sorts.
Yeah, it's not going to go there. That whale tail's not going on the last jump, but Eamon's hoping to put it in further up the hill or put it in like the side somewhere as a wall ride. But we're hoping that Eamon's going to have the time to put this drop off there. So on the big gap at the end, the one that's not used anymore at Bugs on the last table, cut the top of the takeoff down, mellow it out a bit, and then have that. So you jump off of that onto this like up box, and then off of that into that landing on the last jump. So then you can come down, like the main line that everyone kind of hits at the moment is next to that big rainbow rail. You hit the white kicker, then the orange kicker, then the hip. Well, now if that gets put in place and it works, hopefully you can then do white kicker, orange kicker, then like launch box.
Yeah.
Like, so
They're
you
giving you tool.
little gap on, big gap off. Like, hopefully it'll work well there, so you don't just have to hit the hip.
I got to say, I'm very excited about the prospect of when they said about the whale tail, and I had a look at it and I thought, cool, crikey, that's a real, it's going to be whippy.
Oh yeah.
But now you're saying about putting it like at a 45-degree angle as a whip ride.
Yeah, just like on the track.
That's a completely different.
Yeah.
It works in a different way, and it's probably going to benefit it being whippy. In that,
like that one definitely won't be done for the champs, the wall ride, but we might get this launcher drop thing in place in time. We'll see. I mean, I'm heading up a little bit early before the comp as well on the Wednesday or something. So if there's not any other digging work to be done, because that line's not ridden, it means we can have a good go at getting it done if we've got time. But fingers crossed, I think it'd be a really cool addition, super cool addition, like quite a quirky, different feature, something we haven't seen for a very long time. So
I wish I had the time to be able to get up there and give you guys a hand.
It's Eamon. Massive shout out to Eamon. He's put so much effort in up there this year. It's insane. Absolutely insane. But we'll do more about that. Yeah, he's a good boy. He's a good. I mean, he's come out of his shell a lot this year. He's doing a lot of back chatting, which I'm not happy about. And I've told him about this. So
he's been hanging around the wrong crew, hasn't he?
Yeah, I am having to try and like whip him back into shape. Like we've been saying too much. We want him to ride instead of film because we love when we ride with him. I'm gonna have to start getting him to film a bit more again. I think get him back in his box. Get him back in his rightful place before it's too late.
Let's go on to another question here. Now I am gonna give you Mark Bishop.
Oh, hello, Bishop.
And this is one that I don't know. He sent it through. Sorry, I've got to change account because he sent it through to the Dirt. I don't know what this one is, so this could be anything.
Bad.
But I think he's fresh out of the shower.
Oh, just got back from behind.
A last-minute question for Brindy. First off, what everyone really wants to know is, can you do a kickflip? And secondly, what's your favourite cereal and why?
Nice. Honey Cheerios, because why wouldn't they be? And then I can't do a kickflip. I'm sorry. I ride skateboards like Joe Dixon. Joe Dixon's my skateboard idol. He rides a skateboard like a mountainboard, so do I. All early grabs, no ollies. And sorry, Slugs, what's wrong with Honey Cheerios? Like,
they're all right. They're in the top 5, but fucking hell.
Yeah, they go a bit slimy, to be honest with you.
What are you leaving the milk for so long? I like them to go a little bit softer.
Oh, so you admit that they do go slimy then?
Yeah, no, if you leave them in there for like 10 hours,
no,
what's your problem?
What, are you eating out of an infant's bowl?
No, I go for here's how big my bowl is that from a normal size of Honey Cheerios, I only get 3 bowls out of it. If you want to swing balls around like this, then let's go, son. But I feel like
always come down to food conversations.
I feel like Honey Cheerios, you can always come back and they're always enjoyable. Whereas like shredded wheat is pretty damn good when you got hot milk on it, but it's something I can get bored of. And same with porridge, I can get bored of it pretty quick. Whereas Honey Cheerios, I'm like, you know what? I can't get bored of Honey Cheerios, and they're just great, just great. I have been getting into Shreddies a little bit recently when I have cereal as well. Used to be frosted Shreddies, but now I'm getting old. I'm trying to
trying to cut down the sugar.
Trying to bring the blood sugar down. He says, having just chugged a whole bottle of orange Lucasade on the episode. But at the moment, my breakfast routine is definitely crumpets, butter and cheese. 3 crumpets, and a good bit of, well, I say a bit, a slab of mature cheddar on each for breakfast. Sees me through until about 10 o'clock.
Never lose your never lose the holes. Have you seen that? There's an episode of what is it? This Country.
Not that old, mate.
Crumpets. Where the holes gone? Turn them over. How did it?
I mean, it is a bit of a con. You're only like getting half of a thing because it's just full of air, right? So
it's the same deal as a bagel, right?
Yeah.
No, they're butter pockets.
They are butter pockets. I mean, can we please all agree that you haven't buttered a crumpet enough unless it leaves a butter residue on the plate when you pick it up?
Without doubt. Fact.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on then. We've settled this now.
Okay.
Let's go.
Antonio then.
Nice.
Have you done a Smith on the rail yet?
I've been trying. This is another one. I haven't been trying as long or as hard as the 270 app, but I have been trying for years. When Giving Birth to Radman came out and everyone was doing them in there, I was trying to get Ben Ryder to teach me at his place. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. As much as people like, when they think Matt Brind, they think rails. It's just the one rail trick that doesn't work for me. I say that fully tongue-in-cheek. No one thinks rails when my name is mentioned. That's the Paul Sloggett School of Scorpions coming out in full force there.
That's because you learned from Paul Sloggett. Yeah. We've got a whole new fleet of young youth riders now after the progression sessions that are never going to go near a rail ever again.
The most disappointing thing, mate, from that whole session is they started doing some rails and they just wanted more and more and more, and I didn't want to do it. I wanted us to move on to something else. It's like, please don't become rail kids. Like, it's not the way. Slogs would be so disappointed. Nah, kid, they were loving it, man. They were doing everything. There's a 10-year-old who ended up doing the big green rainbow rail.
Oh yeah, good lad.
Yeah, 10 years old.
Very
Legend. His name was Billy, if I remember correctly. Shout out to Billy. Shout out to all the damn kids there. They were sending it. They were all getting on that drop rail and stuff. Like, oh, brilliant.
Yeah,
Good.
absolutely.
I think the best thing that was about it though was like it was rainy and miserable, and they made the most of it and just had a great time. Like, I was so up for that. It was great. Makes all the difference. You got to turn a rainy day into like glory, and they absolutely did.
I am going to give you. I've got two questions again, very similar.
God, they're still going. 2.5 hours in. It's going to be the longest episode and the least watched because everyone's heard this story before.
Do you want the DC version or the Ash Mulholland version?
I want both. I want both. Play them both at the same time.
Well, I don't know. I can't play them both at the same time.
Nah, do one then the other. Go on, flip a
coin.
coin.
We're going to go with Ash first.
Alphabetical.
Only because DC is a double parter, and his second part of his double parter is very similar to another person's.
Have you done podcasts before? You seem pretty good at this. Like,
well, thanks,
have
Matt.
a good idea and a flow with this.
You ought to just fucking leave me to do the hosting, really.
I'll consider it. I'll consider it, but we'll review contracts first. Yeah, like, please, come on. Right. Can we not talk shop on my podcast? Thank you. I mean, I was considering promoting you to a host, but that pure unprofessionalism is
over you now as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've just got to make a point about your unprofessionalism. Go on, Ash.
Fucking amateur night at the big top.
I'm sorry, I've got a blackboard.
No wonder it's going so
I have
long.
a blackboard, Matt has a whiteboard. We just do things different.
Yeah, but mine says butt plug on it. What does yours say?
Mine says spit and shine.
Oh, nice. Nice. I prefer yours.
Oh, where's the volume gone, you bastard?
So before I have a freestyle run, or before I know that I'm going to go do something maybe that might work, it might not work, I get a bit of fear, or I get a bit scared. So my question to you, Matt, is there any point that you ever get scared before a run, or nervous, or does it happen more often than we realise, because we're always calm and collective and we know that you can send, but my question obviously is, do you ever get scared before a run? And what is it usually that puts the fear into you?
I like the way he sort of rephrased the same words there about 3 times.
That was great. He gave like an explanation around it, and a bit of context. That was cool. Do you want to play DCs straight in, or should I answer?
Well, yes, I will. But I'm going to have to try and stop DC before it goes on to the next question.
That's all right. I'll answer it then, and then I can, if DC.
Oh, no. We'll do it my way.
We'll stop arguing on air, yeah? Do you think the people can tell that we're not actually friends?
I've actually got to watch this one just so I can see when to stop it.
How's it going? Dave Compton here. My question for you is, which trick have you done before that you're really glad that you'll never ever have to do again? And my second question for you.
There you go.
Nice. Okay, yeah. So answering Ash, I get scared quite a lot. I'm getting increasingly the fear's coming in. It's a bit of age, isn't it? Like the fear creeps in with age for sure. I don't bounce like I used to. I don't have energy like I used to. It's funny. I keep getting in this position where like my mind has energy, my body doesn't, or my body has energy and my mind's running too slow. But like, yeah, it's more often than you think, I'd say. Like I get no fear racing at all. Like it's chill. You know, there's no pressure there anymore for me. I just, yeah, I enjoy it. I just go hard, push hard, and yeah. Freestyle wise though, like even just backflips sometimes, man. Like say we're riding the bugs a little bit at the weekend after we've done some digging and the progression sessions and stuff, and the middle jump there, I'm nervous to flip that just because I know how big I'm going to go, and like it's a bit whippy kicker and stuff, and like so even that I'm like a bit nervous flipping at the moment. I've been nervous about doing tricks on it, full stop, and the second one, like, but it's one of those you overcome it and then it starts to fade away again. You gotta, if you start getting scared of something, you got to do it so that you don't get a monkey on your back. And again, that's where music can come in a lot for me as well to help. It's like sometimes you need to get hyped, sometimes you need to calm down. Like I find like music is trying to find the right balance for the mentality, and like almost the energy levels a little bit, you know, it helps to calm the nerves sometimes. But it's funny, yeah, I get more scared sometimes these days doing a backflip than I did dropping into nitro to do a double cork in the middle of a train, you know.
Yeah.
Just one of those. It's really dependent on the terrain that I'm riding, and the mood I'm in. I do get into sendy mood still. Like if I'm in a sendy mood, I just send whatever and I don't really get any fear. But if I'm in a more considerate mood, it's not really the right word, but if I'm thinking things out a bit more, then I definitely get a lot more of the fear and a bit of nerves coming in. But yeah, I think that's something again I miss about competitions. Like I said it before, I miss being in the zone, and being in the zone, I feel like, okay, it's almost like, yeah, I've got a job to do here, so I can push through a lot more. I'm also way more harsh on myself at those times. But yeah, long answer to a short question, but it's more than you think. And most of the time I can still overcome it. But sometimes I'll back away from a lot of things as well these days. Like there's certain tricks I will never just send. I'll never just send doubles. If it's not right, no one can get me to do it. It's not worth it ever. But like a 720, you know, I'll send that if it's half sketch sometimes. Like David's place, I somehow managed to 7 the first jump there, which is like a 3-foot kicker, just because I had to. Best 2 runs count. I'd only landed run 1 and it was my last run and I was sitting in 8th place. So I just had to go full send mode, you know, and it worked. But there we go. And Dave, double cork 10, I think. Don't ever have to do that again. That was the hardest trick I've ever done, easily. I'm glad I don't have to do that again. I have inklings in my head that like I'd love to try and send it at our jump, but I know it's not big enough. Maybe I'd try it again if the chance came, but I'd definitely double backflip 1-footer before I did a double cork 10 again.
Yeah, excellent. Well, let's have Ash's second part, and then we'll go.
Oh, crikey!
Well,
cheers, Ash, and cheers, Dave, for parts 1.
My second question is on a similar line, I suppose. What really, really annoys you when you're on the track, or what really, really pisses you off if something doesn't go as well as you're expecting, or in any way, just explain what is the one thing that ticks you off when you're going down the track. It could be either a really bad time in downhill, or it could be a really bad load across cone if you haven't. But yeah, that's my next question is, what really ticks you off?
I love the fact there's Wham playing in the background.
Yeah, he's crushing it. He's having a really good time. I don't like making mistakes, especially if I feel like it was a silly mistake. That annoys me. But the thing that annoys me the most is if I feel like I haven't given it 100% effort. Like years ago, I tried to move my confidence from like performance based and how well I did to how hard I'm trying. Which is cool because then like that takes a lot of the pressure off, because you go, okay, if I know I'm going to drop in and give it everything, I can't be gutted. Like I did everything, as opposed to, right, if I don't, you know, get across the finish line in this time or whatever, then I'll be really pissed off. That took loads of the pressure off, which then unleashed a bit more potential as well. Like you get up into that 90% plus range of effort more consistently. So yeah, making silly mistakes, especially in a pressure situation, kind of sucks. That annoys me. Not because of I won't place where I think I should, but because I'm a perfectionist. I want to put in my best performance that I can. Not, like I say, not for accolades or anything, but so I can be proud of what I did. And like doing a silly little mistake or something annoys me, but only annoys me in the moment. Then afterwards, I normally laugh about it a good bit. But yeah, if I it hasn't really happened for a very long time, but if I just kind of give up and I miss out on something because I gave up, like that really pisses me off.
Yeah.
And I won't say what annoys me when I'm not riding and I'm hanging around, because then you'll start telling everyone to do it, like hugs. So I'll keep that one between Andy knows what I'm talking about here, but I'll keep it between me and him for now.
Fair enough. Cool. Well,
cheers, Ash.
That is Ash's questions there, and that leads us then from there on to back, I should say, to
Slogs has fallen asleep. This is going to have to be like Andy and Emily's ladder episode. You know, you're going to have to release it in two parts.
Right. We might have to do it.
Like it. You're going to have the history and the readers' questions sections. Sorry, Dan, you got a mad effort on this one to edit.
That's all right. I'm just not going to bother putting any pictures or anything into this one. It'll sell itself, won't it?
Well, that's the problem. This interview, this is about the fourth iteration of this interview, I think. There's been Revolution.
We have tried a number of times.
And yeah, we did try to hook this up a few times, but you know, I kept making you want more. Treat them mean, keep them keen. You know, you pretended that I wasn't allowed on, but you've been begging, son. I just want to correct the record while you line up the next question.
Well, Dan's been begging.
Well, you couldn't care less, could you?
No, I've had Andy on now. I'm happy.
Yeah, I've been seeking your approval, Slog, since 2006, so nothing's changed there.
It would appear that I have lost.
You had it 2 minutes ago.
No. I've got Dave.
Oh, okay, good.
Jack Johnson messaged me with a similar question, and it's not. I know where it is. See, this is what I mean. It becomes difficult when you get. You say you put it out on Insta and say, "Oh,
yeah,
DM me this stuff," and then you get people asking questions in the comments, sending it on Facebook, sending it on WhatsApp.
But Dan, we're going down the wrong road here. Right, you keep finding it, and while you're doing that, I'm going to fill her. So, a bit of history with the PFC.
So, the question is from Jack Johnson, and we'll play
Three more jam first.
After. Are 3/4 length trousers truly 3/4 length trousers unless they are tailored to the exact leg length? And who is your tailor?
Well, we know I've got a fine eye for detail.
It's taken a while for the 3/4 lengths to come in. Straight in with them.
Yeah.
Should we go back to DC's to give?
Let's get it in there.
Let's
get it in there. It's lined up. Let's fire this one out too.
Oh, no.
My question for you is...
We're going to have to listen to part one as well.
Which trick have you done before that you're really glad that you'll never, ever have to do again? And my second question for you is, what have you got against the last quarter of a pair of trousers?
It's the fact that your shins get...
You're known for not wearing the final quarter of a pair of trousers. But if it's not that specific quarter that you've got a problem with, but it's just generally not having... only having 3/4 in total of a pair of trousers, then how would you feel about getting rid of a different quarter of a pair of trousers? What are the 2 quarters in the middle? Or perhaps even top quarter of a pair of trousers entirely?
He's rumbled me there, because I actually really like arseless chaps, and that's the quarter I most prefer to have missing. But it really doesn't lend itself to mountain boarding and scraping your butt a lot, does it? So I said about that permanent lump, I don't want to add permanent gravel rash to my ring piece if I can avoid it. So I normally would have the arse portion missing of a pair of trousers, and that would be my 3/4 right there. But otherwise, I have to go for the ventilation and the social acceptance of a 3/4 pair of trousers.
There's no fucking... There is no social...
Excuse me. I'm talking. This is my podcast. I would like you not to interrupt me during my podcast while I'm, being contemplative and whimsical.
Do you think you're keeping it, Dave Compton? He's got no bloody place speaking about 3/4 length trousers, to be honest. You should have fired that back there.
Yeah,
it's fine. It's fine. Look, I have no shame. I would like to point out that they have become shorts and not 3/4 length trousers over the years. But I have so in all honesty, I have a thing about my knees being out. I don't like shorts where my knees are hanging out. I don't know why. I don't like my knees hanging out, and that's why it was always 3/4 lengths, because that went down to like a good part way down my shin. And then when I started riding, so I had 3/4 length trousers for ages. Then I started trying to ride jeans, and my legs were getting way too hot, so I just went back to shorts.
Well,
but now
actually,
I like a baggy,
that's not
long
strictly
pair of
true,
shorts.
because I've seen photo evidence of you going through a mid stage of you folding up your jeans.
That's when I didn't have shorts on hand, and I was damn hot, and I wasn't ready to commit to cutting the bottoms off.
I always thought it's because you thought you had the sexiest ankles on the planet, and you just put
No.
all the time.
Now, after Lester Shrimpton would constantly tell me about how skinny my ankles were and how he's surprised they didn't break, I couldn't. It definitely wasn't.
He can talk.
Yeah,
That's because you had a size 11 feet. They just, that's an illusion.
They're not actually size 11. They're only size 8, but because he's got 3/4 length.
Trick of perspective. Yeah, no, I like the coolness that kind of like, not like you're not a cool person doing it, but you know the ventilation is good. But I don't know. It's weird. It's one of my quirks. I don't like my knees on show. I had to borrow Andy's jeans the time before this that we went to Bugs. I had to borrow Andy's shorts, and that I was not happy that they came to like the top of my kneecap. I wasn't very comfortable. I was pulling them down, and it was really weird because I was doing a progression session with kids, and there's me unbuttoning my trousers and trying to pull them down a little bit. You know, really have some boxers on show. I did get a little, knock on the door after that. Officials had to renew my DBS check, but moving on. Next question. I don't understand what the beef is with 3/4 length trousers, Dan. I mean, why is everyone coming at me for just being comfortable?
What's the point? No.
Because you don't have to look at them. Everyone else is looking at you wearing them. You're not fucking looking at yourself.
Fair play. All right.
Full length mirror. Buy one.
Sorry.
And not just to that, it's like you've had shorts have been around for years, right? The shorts in the 90s became a thing. They went just below the kneecap. There's no need for it. There's no need for a half.
I started when I wasn't really buying my own wardrobe, and it was a thing. But look, let's just get it. Shall I just admit it now? I had a pair of the trousers where the bottom part zipped off. All right, I said it. I had a pair of the trousers where the bottom part zipped off. Looking back, it was pointless. Why don't you? It takes the same amount of time to change from trousers to shorts as it does to unzip those bad boys. Young me was a fool.
Well, I'm kind
Dexy
of
is all hell, but he was a fool.
I'm kind of glad that they are still around. It makes you. Maybe that's.
Unfortunately, that's my legacy.
Yeah, that's your legacy. You got 3/4 trousers and 3/4 of the way to getting a pro model board.
I mean, I'd say they're more like 5/8 at this point. They're more like 5/8 rather than 3/4. I mean, please, they have shortened in length. But yeah, arseless chaps and 5/8 trousers is the way.
We're not on board. It's arseless chaps.
Yeah. Just ask Lee. Carry on.
Oh no. Why did you have to bring her into it? The mind just wanders then.
Yeah.
Right. Let's go straight on.
Bingo.
Bingo, indeed.
There's still more.
Yeah, there's the last one.
Well, thanks everyone. And that was very nice.
You'll be interested to know it's got nothing to do with assless chaps or pegging.
I didn't say pegging. You did. Sandy, here we go. He's at Ipswich. He's at Ipswich pub track.
Ipswich BMX track, working depth legs, finding lines. We're curious though, as you're a second-rate skate 3 player, skate 2 player, skate 1 player, second-rate virtual tennis player, second-rate Beat Saberer, and a second-rate Blast-on player.
Total lies.
That's obviously quite contrasting to your mountain board success. So I don't know, take the single biggest factor to your years at the top speed. What's your little secret tip, your recipe, what you doing and keep doing something again. Let me know. I'll smash her in France next weekend or the weekend after. Depends on when this is out.
All right, we got to clear up some records here. Yes, he is way better than me at skate 1, 2, and 3, and there's no shame in that. Andy is the best skate player I've ever seen of all time.
Mate, 4
But
coming out, 4's in production.
I know, I can't wait, and it's really funny because we can't skate for shit, so it's brilliant. Andy can skate even less than me. I've got a funny video of him trying to drop in on a mini ramp. It's so good. I watch it many times. Virtual tennis, no, that's an undecided. Whoever's on their day wins, but it's unfair if you're just picking Rafael Nadal all the time because he runs so fast you can't get a ball past him. It's impossible. But yeah, virtual tennis was great, so great. This was where I was originally going to get butt plug in, by the way, on the bingo. I was going to say, yeah, I hate losing to Andy. It's more sore than putting in a large butt plug. But yeah. And then he said other games. Beat Saber, he's got nothing on me. He plays a whole difficulty level lower, so he can jog right on. Blast-On's, I'd say that's pretty level. Nice light works there. Audio listeners have no idea. It's fine. We got away with it. Good job nobody mentioned it. And then his question: secret to success? I'd say obsession. Frankly, I was obsessed for years on everything of mountainboarding, details on my riding. What other people were doing, like, can I do that? That looks cool. Like, oh, how did they get round that so well? Like, I remember looking back at Leon when he rode hair down in 2005, watching AT Borders videos from it and seeing how he could go into a left-hand turn, a hillside turn, faster than anybody else, but still get round it clean when others can't go into it that fast without going out the back. And it's because he was hopping not the front, but the background. So as he's going around the turn, he's scrubbing his speed while turning, whereas everyone who tries to hop with the front, they're gaining speed or staying the same speed while turning so they can wash out or go out the back. And that was something that I was like, oh, that's a cool, like, little detail that I could try and incorporate into my riding, and that would make me better. So yeah, just, I guess if it has to be in like one area, it'd be sheer obsession. I've been obsessed with mountainboarding for the longest time. I'm not as obsessed anymore because my competitiveness with myself has gone down a lot. But I still want to keep up. I don't want to get too rusty in that. But certainly, like the first 10 years or so, I was just obsessed. As I said earlier, I would
obsessed or nerdy.
I would say obsessed. I wouldn't necessarily think about like the stats and stuff or all the like knowledge of it. It was all about, like I said earlier, what am I going to do this weekend when I go on the board? Where are we riding? Okay, so can I try and like learn this grab with a 5? Can I kind of do this? Oh, I didn't nail that line down the border cross last week. I really want to get it nailed. Like, and like, yeah, just that level constant. It would be, it'd be all I think about back in the day. Obsession and passion. Obviously I got so much out of it as well. It wasn't just a crazy obsession, but it was like fairly psychotic, but I got so much out of it as a reward. Like the personal progression just paid ridiculous dividends. Otherwise you can't keep up with that kind of obsession. Like, yeah, I've said it 7 times now and we're already 3 hours in, so let's go on to the next thing.
Well done. I sympathise with your obsession in some way, shape or form. He says, looking at all the boards behind the screen. And, but yeah, I mean, I think our obsession differs on a little bit just because I didn't come to it at the early age. Like you didn't have that ability to be able to progress through youth as such. The obsession doesn't leave.
No, it mutates. I think is a better way to put it.
Yeah, it's a collecting boards when you're down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I guess at first it was like, yeah, it was something that I did. It was like my thing. No one around, like in my group of friends and that did it. Like gave me a bit of identity. And like I said, I loved the competitiveness with myself. Like I did have a lot of drive in the early days for sure, like to wanting to be better than all the people I was riding with, as Slogs I'm sure can attest to. I was a cocky shit at 14 to 16, maybe 17, until I heard myself on a video and somebody talking about me on a video when I wasn't around, and that like really knocked into me like, oh wait, I'm being an arrogant prick all
Was
the
that
time.
the dark side of living with a champion?
That's a bit of a Mick take out of it, yeah, but I was worse than that.
I never realised that wasn't serious.
Yeah. Serious though, I was so much worse that I pretended to be in that. Like, and that, obviously, that was an exaggeration of what I am like. Like, so it is in a kernel of truth. But I was so bad as a teenager, man. I put actual effort into changing my personality a bit to be less of a prick. I was arrogant, cocky.
Is it still a work in progress? Is it?
Oh, it always is, mate. You're never finished. But yeah, so I was super competitive with people back then, but always from the start, yeah, mad competitive myself. And like I say, the obsessions moved from there to like, I like to put on really good events. Like that became a bit of an obsession as well. Like, but there we go. And eventually, I'll be collecting boards. It'll be good. I'll get all yours when you start selling them.
That's it. Well, maybe more likely to inherit them.
However they come across, as long as they're not too crusty.
Kids won't have an interest, that's for bloody sure. Slogs, we're all done on readers' questions. We're over the 3 hour mark.
It's already the longest, and we haven't even started a 10 set.
Let's get this 10 set done and fuck him off already.
Yeah, please, please.
I'm surprised with the amount of questions we had that my 10 set hasn't been dented too much.
Yeah, nice.
Normally you can see we go, fuck. Right. Throw them out there. Don't think too much. Reg or goof?
Reg.
Freestyle or border cross?
Freestyle. It's tough though, really tough. I'd free cross, mate, if it was possible, but yeah, it's really tough. But it would be freestyle.
Electric or mountain board?
Mountain board.
All the way.
Yeah, easy.
Right. Favorite comp that you ever?
I'm going to go with the Peniche one, just because of, like I said, the stakes were high. There was a seriously good freestyle session afterwards. Yeah, I was in the zone like mad. There have been some absolute crackers. Like, I don't want to downplay any of the others, but yeah, I'll go with Peniche. Yeah.
Favorite border cross track?
Winterberg.
You didn't even have to think about that.
I may have come pre-prepared, but I love Out to Grass as well. That was sick. But I think actually when I was on the tour, the BFC in Europe in 2008, to our love joy as well, we got to ride that Winterberg track, and I did a good few runs down that, and it was blistering fast, ridiculous flow. Take the chairlift back up, drop back in, and go again. Oh my gosh. Yeah, thinking back, that is the one. That is incredible. Yeah, that was the one.
Favorite freestyle setup?
I've got to go with what's nowadays as well, not what I would have liked back in the day. There's been loads of great sessions at Heart Hill. I'm struggling to think of anything. No, LA. Nah, easy. How can I forget? LA is my favorite freestyle park. Full stop. Yep. There's been some absolute crackers of sessions go down at Heart Hill, and it is up there. But yeah, I'm going to go LA. Soz Boys. Soz Park.
Favorite trick you've ever pulled off?
That's a tough one too, actually. Like, don't get me wrong, I really like doing the double back 1-footer and the double cork 10 and that. But like, they had a purpose in a way. Like I said, I came in with that mission, and I've had a really hit and miss history with them. They are damn tough, but
know what you're going to get sent multitudes of now, and the next time you put out requests on the bag, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I did a backside cork. I really love doing backside cork 7 tail grabs with a nose bone. That's my favorite trick that I've sent. I think, but like, it just feels incredible. Yeah. There's been a couple of really special doubles too, but yeah, I'll go with the cork 7.
Next trick you got in your sights?
there's a bunch of stuff on the bag to bring to dirt for sure. Like there's all that 1-footed stuff I need to bring. If I'm gonna pick one big dog one, that if I could go, yeah, that's the one I will definitely land. It's the Backside Cork 5 1-footer. That would be like, it's not the next one I'm gonna bring, but it is definitely like that's the big one I want to take to dirt. I don't think my switch is up there enough at the moment for the switch double. I'd have to find really the right setup. I think the Backside Cork 5 1-footer is closer. So I think that's like big Mac Daddy trick I would love to get done.
Who's your biggest worry in the Nationals this year?
Not worried about any of them.
Ooh.
It'll be what it'll be. I've proven myself already. I've got 10 titles. Like I'll go hard. But the problem that a few of them have had in the past is consistency across all 3 disciplines, and that's where I've always shone. So not being a dick. I mean, if David comes along, he's going to be a good bit of spice thrown into the mix. But the other thing with the UK champs is, as the organizer, if there's any lacking in terms of like volunteers to run stuff, I'm the one who's going to step out first. So I might have to pull out anyway, so it doesn't even matter. Like I'll probably get to do border cross, but it might be freestyle. We need judges or something, so I'll have to pull out there. But genuinely, I'm not worried. Partly because, I feel like if I'm at my level, I feel I'm pretty untouchable when I'm riding at my absolute best. If I'm
not worried about downhill and freestyle with Jolly Tom's on good form at the moment.
Jolly's not got big tricks though. That's the thing. He'll send his tricks on anything, but he doesn't go beyond 3 or maybe 5.
Yeah.
But downhill, I mean, yeah.
Downhill.
There's only been one downhill comp that I didn't win like the season for anyway. That I've entered. There was when we had 4 comps a year, there was the odd 1 or 2 that Bieran would take the win from, but always overall it'd be me, apart from the kidney year where Smout won. I shine pretty good in downhill too, so I'm good all around. If I'm competing, as long as I find my way back into the rhythm of competing again, I'm pretty chill about it. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, they're really great riders. They are. But I don't know. I'm not stressing about them. It's just, if they beat me, they beat me. Like it is what it is. Good on them. About damn time someone did, so I can start to retire. Please, come on. That was a mistake. I was like, oh yeah, I'll get well good at competitions and it'll be sick. And then somebody else will come along. I'll have a good tussle with them and I'll hand over the torch. And
still
I was the last generation of mountain boarders. I kid. There's kids coming up, of course. But I really hope David does come over, and I hope Dylan makes it over as well. I think it would be cool to have a few more international riders over representing. Not to compete against necessarily, but just to change the vibe. Everyone always seems to bring extra from the UK crowd when there's some internationals there. Like we had the French come over a few years ago, and everyone they just went extra hard for them to show them what it's all like to show them the UK scene, And I like the way everyone steps up. It's cool.
Right. Favorite rider to watch? Who'd you rate?
To watch
all time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Bieran stole my answer. I was planning on saying Joe Dixon. Mountainboard, snowboard, skateboard. I can't watch Joe Dixon and not smile because he just can't fall off. He'll have the most outrageous things happening and he can't fall off, and he just makes all stupid noises, and I grin and laugh the whole time. Yeah, so I'm avoiding the obvious answer, which is Andy, because I get so stoked watching Andy ride. When he's on his game and he's doing his tricks and stuff, he's got so much steez and ability these days. It's awesome. But I really love watching Joe as well. Yeah, so I guess I'd have to go between a mix of those two.
So you can answer the next question. I think I know the answer for this one now. Favorite rider to ride with?
Obviously, Andy's up there too, but I'd say Cody Stewart on this one.
Nice.
Yeah. He was a bit of an idol with the 1-5 crew coming through. I was like, yeah, that guy's sick. Like Cody's so sick. Put him up on the pedestal. Got to meet him in Serbia, and they say don't meet your heroes, but that was absolutely great. Cody was everything I thought he might be and more. So I love riding with Cody. He's as good as I thought he would be, if not better, and just a legend. So yeah, favorite person to ride with is Cody. If I could, get him over here more often, I'd be doing that. But naturally, first person I'd call and want to ride with anyway is Andy. But it's too obvious. So Cody Stewart is where I'm going there.
Where's your 10 set, man?
Thank you very much. Cheers. I couldn't get in that I'm my favourite rider. I could have got it in actually, but I totally forgot when it came to it. So that was another one on bingo. In the 10 set to say that I'm my own favourite rider. And the one last one that I didn't get in there, I don't know how I missed this one, was so you can grab it just like me. That would have been a.
At least you're getting them all in. Although
they're all in there now. Yeah, I'm not Horatio Nelson. I stick to my guns and try and get everything in there. You know.
That's a great one.
I know I said that one already, but it's a funny one.
It's the best one.
That was the one I was actually worried about. The rest, I was like, I can probably get most of these in, but I've ruined it with super fragilistic. So I had a plan, right? I was going to get one of you two to say it. I was going to try and get a segue in onto talking about the track and say, oh yeah, that place was so good. What's that word from Mary Poppins? Super something, and then try and get one of you guys to say it. And then I was going to be the hero in Eamon's eyes, but I instead it all broke down there and let him down. And at this point, I'm just playing for time. I'm trying to get to 3.5 hours. I'm just waffling on and on.
Matt, you don't look. I've not even asked you. Have you got any thanks or shout outs yet?
I know, I'm waffling. Yeah, because that's the end. That means that's the 5-minute buzzer going on.
Let's talk about the Nationals coming up, and then we can talk about EBIT as well.
I don't want to talk about EBIT. That's Eamon's job. UK Champs, end of July, come along. We've changed the way the pro category works. Everyone's pro until they're not now. So it's going to be really sick. That means there's more racing for everyone, basically. And if you finish on the podium, which is the top 4, then you are genuinely the top 4 in that discipline in the entire damn country. So that's going to be real sick. Try not to talk to me too much during border cross. I've done test runs on the spreadsheet, but there's always gremlins that come up when it's live. And thanks for joining in. This has been the Matt Brind Podcast, episode number 1. We hope you've really enjoyed it.
You've not told us about the downhill track.
Oh, yeah. So Beer and Eamon came up with a cool line for the downhill track.
He's going to try and cut us off here, isn't he? He's going to try
Where's
and
the play him off music? Where's the play him off music?
He's going to press the button to leave the fucking conversation as though he's finishing it. No, Matthew.
Yeah, downhill's looking cool. So one of the things people I think have been a bit nervous about with Bugs is that there wasn't a defined downhill track. I've been putting it up a bit, yeah. I know, it's funny. I said I didn't like them, but I have got because we're going to France in a couple of days, I've been wearing the stuff I don't normally wear so that I've got stuff to take with me. And these are like my shortest shorts. So seeing as no one can really see me indoors, I've been having my shortest shorts on today. It's been hot as balls. Anyway, downhill. So Beeran and Eamon came up with a line. Eamon built it. It's got a little bit more work to be done to finish it off. Like one of the bike berms has gotten a bit soft again. So when that's packed back in and then exiting the bike berm, is a bit rough and bumpy. Smoothing that out, it's going to be a bit more speed, more techie. It's going to be sweet. I think it's going to be a really fun track. It's got a bit of everything in there. You've got drops into berms. You've got a little bomb hole. You've got a drop off if you want it. We're going to have a little tabletop in there. Some grass turns at the end. It's going to be really sick. I think there's a few points in there that you can really make or break your run as well. So it's going to be.
I'm actually really quite looking forward to it. I wasn't. I found it quite hard to look at that hill and see a downhill track in there. But
I completely agree.
From what you've got there, I think you guys have carved out a really good line.
Yeah, Eamon and Beeran scouted it out. Eamon built it. So big shout out to those two, especially Eamon for the build. Thank you very much.
He's putting in the effort this year as Eamon.
Yeah. And that's enough praise, please. Got to get him back in his
box.
Right,
okay, cool. That's the end of the podcast.
Oh, and freestyle.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, freestyle quick. We did the freestyle. It's going to be 2 sessions. 2 sessions. Two freestyle sessions. Sessions freestyle. Two of them. One of the gym, one of the jumps. Gym's going to be like 40 points. Jumps will be like 100. Best 2 or 3 runs. It'll be best 3 runs on each. Added together. Scores. Doors. Your results. Freestyle border cross downhill added together overall. Okay, thanks. This is Matt Brind Podcast. See you later.
I'm really happy about the jib bit being put into it because I wouldn't have done freestyle else.
Oh, well, I'm glad, yeah.
So I'm really happy that I can get myself in amongst that, because like
yeah, that's great to hear, because that was our entire intention. Like
that has opened up. I think you're gonna have a few more of the older guys having a fuck about with it now.
Yeah, the jib's a lot more. It's I don't know. It's a lot more forgiving, isn't it? Like it's a bit more. It's easier going, right? So we were hoping that people who wouldn't normally freestyle would at least do the jib jam, and also for the groms, they're just going to do the jib jam. So they don't have to feel the pressure of doing the other side, and they haven't got to ride for too long as well. So yeah, I'm really glad to hear that, Slogs. That's exactly what we were hoping. So cheers, man.
Yeah, it's a cracking idea.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Only a few weeks left, and hopefully this will get out before then, if I can pull my finger out my ass.
If not, man, what a contest. Can't believe I clean sweeped it again. So unstoppable. Oh my gosh, just give me a pro model already, somebody. Crikey. We've hit all the notes there, yeah? So ready for the World Downhill Championships now. Now we've hit the notes.
That's it. Like I say, is there anything else that you wanted to say? Or
I mean, I've got an endless list of thank yous to go out there, but we've mentioned a few of the key names. But there's got to be a shout out to you guys as well, especially Slogs. Sorry, Dan, but especially Slogs, because you were there running XPP for the majority of the time. Then also I've got to mention Roger Thurston too, as running XPP, and what a place that was. I don't know. It feels like it was kind of underrated towards the end. People didn't realize what a gem it was, and it was so foundational to like me and Andy, getting regular rides there, and like the environment that was there was so progressive as well, like everyone peer pressuring each other on, and yeah, it was so great. And then also Out to Grass as well, didn't get a mention. That place was huge to me and Andy too. If you were going to say favorite center, that was going to be it, with Hart Hill and XPP close seconds. Because Mum used to take us up there for like a week, 2 weeks, and she'd just sit around, go on local walks and stuff while we just ride Out to Grass and just progress insane amounts. And then yeah, also shout out to Hale Super Bowl, Mark Hale, and then eventually the Hap crew too. They're the big shout outs. Also early ATBA when I came in too, I wanted to make a big mention to as well. So Amanda Frost, Roger Swannell, Harry Jessup, Josh Graffam. They were there, helped me get to learn the ropes so that I'd be able to carry on. I mean, it all fell apart because I said I wanted to quit, and then I came back, and they were all gone. But, yeah, and a shout out to you boys again for doing this, and thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're welcome.
Shout out to all the parents and things out there.
Pleasure.
Yeah. Cheers, boys.
Right, are you going to red button in?
This has almost been 3.5 hours.
I know. I'm so sorry. This is why I shouldn't have come on here. It was cool that I'm glad I came on later though. Like it was nice because we got to hear from so many other people. Like it was really rad. Like the diversity on the podcast so far has been epic. Long may she reign. I can't wait to be on a panel episode and just derail everyone constantly. You've seen what's happened here when we had 3 or 4 of us.
Yeah.
Just wait till there's 7, and it's still this much me.
We might have
Such an ego.
Move any particular timings forward an hour or 2 for you in future.
No, we need like an air horn or something to answer. Time's up. Next question.
Perfect. Look, gents. Well, I'm just going to end it there.
Right, later.
Oh, he's
already gone.
You trying to do an Andy Brind there?
Stop! Just sign out. Sign out. This is how we go 3.5 hours, Dan. Come on, we just got to commit to signing out. Thanks, everyone. Peace.
Way aye, man. That was dead canny as out that like. Cheers for tuning out to listen. Now, before you gan yem, don't forget, if you want to keep getting doing with the dirty fun, like and subscribe. Get amongst it. Shy Ben's getting out.